Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Twisted Tragedies, where we follow all the twists and turns wherever they lead. And I am your host, Elise, your fearless leader. Welcome, everybody. Happy afternoon. I probably said morning, right? I'm used to the morning time. I had to take a little time for myself this morning. It was, I had had a phone call. Didn't have some great news about a friend, and then, I had to take a minute. I had to get a breather in. You know what I mean? A breather. So I took that breather. Also, fit check. I'm totally wearing a sweater dress and it's super comfy. I'm not going to lie. It's a very comfy sweater dress. If you don't own a sweater dress, y'all should try it. It's very comfortable. I am like super duper comfortable right now. And I'm like, this is the best sweater dress ever. I just put my boots on and my sweater dress, and I'm just comfy dumpty. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to find my computer to cooperate with me this morning. Jeez Louise. We got Kelsey Fitzsimmons is in court today.
In the county. That's thousands of cases to.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Although my flower is
Well, and
not
it doesn't
cooperating.
include all of the prosecutors that have passed through the office, that have come and gone over the course of the years. Are you suggesting, Mr. Bradel, that the Commonwealth needs to contact each and every prosecutor that has ever worked in the district attorney's office throughout the officer's tenure?
No, Judge.
Well, that's what the motion asks for.
Judge, it asks them to have, maybe they could use a computer database. Maybe they can log, just like, lawyers have record-keeping responsibilities. Lawyers have conflict checks.
Oh, do they?
All sorts of things that are precedent for this kind of a thing. When a prosecutor has a case where some questionable police activity has arisen, prosecutors can easily document that in this case, Officer Jones was found to be not credible by Judge Smith.
Well, I understand that, but
I definitely paused it when I saw that we were freezing already, mother effer.
I probably see 2 Frank's hearing requests a month in this session, 2 or 3. Most of them are not allowed. Occasionally they are.
Hope it gets better.
And just because there is a Frank's hearing does not mean that there was a finding that anyone gave any false information.
Sure.
So how would anyone determine that?
Well, Judge, again, these are record-keeping requests.
But who keeps a database
Wallflower.
So
for the last 10 years?
when you're a prosecutor in a district attorney's office,
Kathy Flaherty received the membership
you're
from
required to follow
Wallflower.
office procedures.
Shaking the bushes.
Right.
And there's no reason why a prosecutor's office ought to exercise willful blindness about these issues.
So you feel that it's up to you to decide how the district attorney's office conducts its business?
It's up to me to decide.
Did you work in the Essex County DA's office?
Suffolk.
Judge, I did not work in the Essex County
so
DA's office, but I
Suffolk.
did know a little bit about it.
What are you speaking about when you say that this is how a DA's office ought to be conducting itself? What's the basis for that?
Judge,
He's making himself look like a fool
It's an
right now.
obscure proposition, Your Honor, that when a public agency such as the district attorney's office has to close out a case, that they have to comply with record-keeping obligations.
But it's not your job to decide that.
But
sir.
FOIA, under record.
Come on, bub.
All sorts of things
You know that,
about
Mr.
what
Bradel.
happened with the case.
Well, I understand, but Mr. Gubitosi has represented that he's gone back and searched. They have a process. I'm sure that he'll advise you as to what the process is. And if you want to critique the process,
Cool.
that's up to you.
It's not in the courtroom.
But in terms of them producing evidence that is in their possession, custody, and control, he can only produce what he can.
What he
search
has.
for. And the fact that you disagree, maybe you do, with the way in which they keep records or
Too
the
bad.
type
basically.
of records that
Not
they
a
keep
court issue.
is not an issue that I'm going to decide.
It's not a court
I don't know of
issue.
any case law that says that I'm the one, or you for that matter,
Nope.
to decide how the district attorney's
Nope.
office keeps records. And in fact, I'm not going to order anybody to retroactively go back and search records from, I don't know how long the officers who are witnesses in this case.
The
have been police
presumptuous
officers in this county.
way.
Do
Like,
you know,
he's
Mr.
so
Gubitosi,
presumptuous.
off the top of your head?
And then one of them is 20-something years.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that I can ask them to
Entitled
search records
attitude.
they don't have.
In front of the
Um,
judge. It's like so
but-
fucking dumb.
There is a
Pissing off the judge is such a
whether
stupid
the
idea.
officer has ever attended or presented at a law enforcement training by the private vendor.
Just before we jump off of that one,
Yeah,
all the Commonwealth has to do is ask the officers. There's 4 officers that were at the
Oh
scene.
my God. You don't get to tell the Commonwealth who they're asking, though. That's the problem.
There are ways to do this. We don't have to act like this is some obscure thing, Your Honor. This is exculpatory evidence. We have every right to all of these things under Graham
Oh my
McFarland
God.
and under Brady. Kyle
what
David-
case says you
The
have a
judge is
right
gonna-
to find out whether any police officer on any case has ever refused to answer questions?
A police officer in our case, Your Honor.
No, in this case, what is the precedent? You've got to cite, where is the case or statute
fair,
that says?
I'd be crying
that
too
a
if this guy
police
was my
department
attorney
has
because
to
he's not good.
disclose to you or to
Dumbass.
anyone else when an officer declines to answer questions. There are a lot of
boy.
reasons for that, I can assure you. And I'm not aware of any records that are kept of that. And I can assure you that it would never be admissible under any circumstances. So I'm having a hard time with the concept that the DA's office or the police department has to supply you with the fact that an officer 15 years ago declined to answer questions after a shooting at the scene, but 2 days later answered the questions, for example. Happens quite frequently. So
Yep.
I am reluctant to say, I doubt there's any police agency that keeps records like that. I don't know of any, but certainly the district attorney's office doesn't keep records like that.
Your Honor, I
Oops.
certainly am not telling you anything you don't know. But just
Oh,
put
boy.
it out there on the record.
On the
When
record,
an
yeah.
officer takes the fifth, so to speak, it's
No,
been
not so to
found that a
speak.
truthful answer would incriminate them. So it's incriminating information.
Who
Who's
decided
made
that?
that finding? That's an
Right?
interesting concept because I probably represented thousands of officers at
What?
interviews, and I yet to have or even hear of someone making a determination that that person had a Fifth Amendment privilege or not. My
my
experience
God.
has been that the department offers people a rights form, and if the department has made or ascertained that the person has a self-incrimination right, far be it from a
What
lawyer to
is Bradel
question that
doing?
when the prosecuting or investigating agency is doing
'Cause-
that. So again,
It's built
Bradel's
into
being an
the-
idiot.
to the law of
Not
the Fifth
helping his
Amendment,
client
Your
right now.
Honor, that you can
Not.
only take the Fifth Amendment when a truthful answer will incriminate you.
that's assuming you're ordered to, and that's
Right.
assuming that the order also encompasses the nuances presented by the state constitution, which requires transactional immunity to overcome it under Carney versus Springfield. So it's
Well.
not as simple as you make it sound. But let's get back to the fundamental issue. Does the district attorney's office keep records of any officers that have ever invoked their rights at any proceeding that the district attorney's office
Oh,
is aware
thank
of?
you. I hope you feel better.
And if, with regard to the police department, Mr. Bradel,
Shook the
I'm not
bushes,
aware
so
of whether they
She must
keep
just be
records of that
watching.
or not. But I am certainly familiar with the fact that even if that were true of a particular officer, it certainly is not admissible.
Nope.
Judge Rand McFarland has a whole host of things that are not
Oh,
admissible, or an
God.
optimistic defense counsel
Right.
might say not yet admissible, but that's not
sake.
a exclusionary factor, Your Honor. So you can't really go there. And these are all, we don't need to pretend like the officers are in Alaska. They're down the street.
No, I
The
understand.
Commonwealth can ask them all these things.
But does that case say that all records pertaining to an officer, any officer who has ever invoked his or her rights,
Lots of records.
either under the Fifth Amendment or Article 12, records have to be kept and they have to be disclosed. Does the case address that?
It does not say anything about.
Does the case address whether or not an officer who is the subject of a pending internal affairs investigation unrelated to the matter that is before the court, that those records need to be produced?
Yes.
Okay. And what about whether the officer has ever testified in a motion to suppress, which the motion was allowed because the officer it's pretty broad in terms of violating the defendant's rights, but assuming we could refine it a little bit,
Sure.
Does the case say that you must produce that? And who's charged with keeping those records?
Your Honor, Brady says we have to produce that. The Constitution says we have to.
On any motion to
no.
suppress that was ever
No,
allowed?
no.
An officer
Come on,
is
stop
found
it.
to be not credible.
No.
Well, hold on. Those are two different things here.
Yep.
The fact that a motion to suppress is allowed does not necessarily mean that an officer was found to have lied or made false statements. There are two different things. People make mistakes. The purpose of the exclusionary rule is to deter police conduct, but not every motion to suppress is allowed because a judge finds that an officer lied. Yes, the motions are allowed because in the court's judgment, for example, a stop was unjustified, but that doesn't mean that the court found that an officer lied.
Correct.
In fact, I'd say most of the time that's not the case.
We're not talking about a legal ruling about an officer's conduct. We're
You
talking
are,
about
though.
when an officer's been found not credible. And that's what we're looking for, Judge.
Well, does your office keep records of decisions by judges saying that officers made false
I don't know.
statements?
Bradel's not helping her
Okay.
though, Leah. And it's
Yeah.
bad. So bad.
What he's writing in this motion is much different than what he's saying here.
Did you check the database for what I just
Yes,
outlined?
and we asked these officers, and he knows this, we asked these officers a whole host of questions.
Okay.
About whether they have convictions or convictions to facts about criminal offenses, I'll just adverse credibility findings against them from any court.
Okay.
Pending criminal investigations into your conduct, findings that you engaged in bias, racial,
Okay.
profiling, discrimination.
Okay.
crime, Findings that you have engaged in untruthfulness or misconduct in implicating credibility.
And have those questions been asked of the witnesses in this case?
Yes. and-
Have you provided any information that's responsive to those
yes,
questions?
there's all
What's the
kinds.
complaint, Mr. Bradel?
Well, that's what I'm asking, is if it's complied with. And
Just said it
I'm
was.
saying it was, and counsel got up and seemed to be wanting to correct me on that. And so here we are.
Okay.
So is it
Oh,
is it
boy.
complied with or
Well, it's
not?
on the record. What else do you want?
Girl, I felt like that too when I was
Motion
sick. I
speaks for
feel you.
itself,
I'm
Your
glad you
Honor.
feel a
I
little
just wanna
better.
know what the Commonwealth is objecting to.
Well, Mr.
They gave us a list and we can go through it.
The list of questions that you asked?
Council
I agree.
objected to 2C. Have they ever refused to answer questions citing their constitutional rights? We had a little bit of a debate about that. I think that's judge a firing offense. I believe that assistant attorneys general have been fired for that. I believe officers have been fired for taking the fifth.
Really?
I think it's
In the absence of
You think?
transactional
Where?
immunity, officers have been fired?
I think it's
Show me
Where?
Carney versus Springfield, and I think you'll find that you're incorrect.
Well, Judge,
Correct.
I think that an officer that takes the fifth in this case about something else is saying, if I answer that question, a truthful answer will incriminate me. So I
Well-
think under Graham McFarland, I think that's certainly
I think
The
you're
case
wrong.
doesn't say it.
indiscoverable.
The case doesn't say it. I don't agree with you. Carney versus Springfield says otherwise, okay?
That's right.
And I don't agree. So,
So,
Mr.
period.
Gubitosi, have you provided a list of the questions that you have asked to the officer, or can you, or will you provide the list of questions that you asked to defense counsel? Okay. And Mr. Bradel, if the answer to all of those questions is no, and they've asked them, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate otherwise in this case, then
Me
you
too,
need to
girl, me
examine the questions, and if you feel there's something that wasn't covered, then you can refine your motion. But I am not going to allow, and I don't think I agree with your view of the law, that
Nope.
whether or not an officer is refused to answer questions, citing constitutional rights is something that you're entitled to. In the
No.
immediate aftermath of critical incidents, officers often advantage themselves of the fact that the police department does not have transactional immunity so that they can have an opportunity to speak sometimes within 24 or 48 hours. Happens all the time. And in fact, officers are often interviewed thoroughly thereafter. So the case does not say that if you refuse to answer questions, it is fireable. In fact, it says quite the contrary. The police department does not have the ability to grant transactional immunity. Only the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the district attorney's office, or the attorney generals have that ability. So to suggest that a chief of police or commissioner could fire someone for invoking their rights without giving them transactional immunity is incorrect. And so as to the extent you're asking for that, it's denied.
Denied.
Now,
The next one is D.
yeah,
Whether the officer is subject of a pending internal affairs investigation or any internal affairs investigations into the officer's conduct, whether these have resulted in sustained findings of misconduct. I'm not sure why there's an objection there.
Well, the way it reads is different than the way he said it.
okay,
If there is a sustained finding, absolutely.
sure,
And,
okay,
and there hasn't been in this case.
okay,
With any of the officers that are involved.
okay. So that's the answer to that. And as far as the other questions, it seems to me H and I are covered by the questionnaire, but J,
Well, no, if I might just, H and I, if you're going to deny them, but they're different than what he's saying.
no, I is only, you only need to respond to I if there's been a finding by a judge that there was a misstatement in the search warrant affidavit, not whether or not defense counsel has filed a Frank's motion, because that happens routinely, and routinely the matters don't even reach an evidentiary hearing. And even
Agreed,
if they
Sam.
do, it often doesn't result in a finding that
He also
there
has
was any untruthfulness. So yes, if there has
weird
been a Frank's
interpretation of the
finding
law.
by a judge
That
that
isn't
an
correct.
officer, any of these officers, made false statements in a search warrant affidavit, yes, you've asked about that, and yes, that has to be produced.
Of course.
Okay.
But H, if we can just get back to that, because we talked about that a little, and if the way counsel is.
I agree with you, Joan.
There's been an adverse finding of credibility, of course we turn that.
Yes,
That's a no-brainer. We
Right.
Do that.
But-
But that's not what that said.
no, not every, well, it's almost impossible to ascertain that. And secondly,
You said no motion to suppress.
Mr.
No,
Gubitosi?
no okay for a motion to suppress.
7? Well,
Yeah, but you can ask the officer, Your Honor.
Well,
The officer is
he
right there.
has,
You can
and if there,
say-
I agree with you. If there was a finding that the officer made a false statement, you're entitled to that. But the fact that an officer thought that he or she had reasonable suspicion to conduct a pat frisk and a judge disagrees does not mean that the officer was found to be untruthful. But
I
yes,
agree with you. We don't
in the
need to-
course
we don't
of-
need to debate it. I agree with you.
okay, so I think we're fine. Now, Jay, you know,
I just have no idea. What
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, and then they can answer that. They don't know about it, they don't know about it. That's the answer. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Now, is there, Mr. Gubitosi, when did you get meeting 35, the motion for specific discovery?
Friday.
Okay. Are you prepared to respond to it?
I can try.
Okay. Is there anything in there that you object to?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that?
He likes to throw shit at the wall. Loves it. Just my opinion. Not a great attorney. Just saying. My opinion.
Again, there are portions of number 2.
Mr. Bradle loves narrative, but he doesn't have great legal arguments. If he can't sway the judge with narrative,
Okay.
he doesn't really know what to do after that.
Okay.
I think Kelsey could do better on an attorney to help her than him. That's for sure.
Number 4A. Excuse me,
Hold on 1 second.
Asking for any and all footage from the North Andover Police Department on June 30th during the time of which Mr. Fitzsimmons was at the station. We've already talked about that. They asked me a bit ago. They didn't ask me in time, so the footage is gone. But it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think he sucks too. I agree.
Okay.
Well,
If something doesn't exist, then,
but the last paragraph, the last.
It doesn't
name and
exist.
contact information.
Does not exist. That's for sure.
Observed Ms. Fitzsimmons at the time.
okay,
Well, she has that information. Who she interacted with.
Right.
November 30th, 25. So,
It's because he's not making a legal argument
Well,
that
first of
makes
all,
sense.
maybe I'm missing something, but other than in the interview room, when someone's advised that they're being recorded and you know, they're taped, I'm not sure there's,
no, I think this is.
An option to not be.
After the event, she went to the hospital.
okay,
For the event, it's my understanding, and this is only from what defense counsel told me.
Yeah.
That she was at the station earlier that day.
oh, okay.
Had, done something, I can't remember what, during the day.
Was that the station earlier, Mr.
But she
Bradle?
knows who she interacted with.
Okay, is June 30th the date of the incident, by the way? Okay. And when was she at the station and for what purpose? What time does the incident happen?
So Your Honor, the incident is, it's in the afternoon of the
Yeah.
30th. And prior to that, Ms. Fitzsimmons was at the North Andover Police Department for a CPR recertification.
I see.
She brought the baby with her.
Okay,
So we wanted the video
Yeah.
from the station. And on August 26th, I think the Commonwealth's going to have an issue with this, okay?
Oh, you
on
think?
August 26th, we filed these arraignment motions.
Right.
Asking, we put them in abeyance except for some of the more obvious ones like
Right.
preserve notes, preserve video,
sure.
tell people who are video holders to hold on to the video. That was August 26th. So the
Okay.
Commonwealth was on notice.
Thank
as
you,
of
Mindy.
August 26th.
Yep.
The video, I am fairly certain, was present and available then when they were given notice of this motion. And I believe the court
Oops.
allowed those preliminary requests.
Well, there are two issues there. First of all, though, when you say August 26th, was that filed in this court
Correct.
when she was arraigned?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Gubitosi, do you know, first of all, I don't know because not that familiar with the North Andover police
I love it,
station,
Biker Daddy.
whether or not they even have cameras that would have videoed the presence of the defendant at the station on that day.
They do.
Okay. And do you know how often those are recorded over?
Not at the present time.
Okay.
I did, when we spoke about it, I called.
Back in August?
It was on, I can't remember.
Okay, okay. So the issue then becomes whether or not the request was made. First issue is whether or not you're confident the video doesn't exist today.
Correct.
Okay. The first question is, I think that the defense counsel is entitled to know when the video, how often they tape over. I mean, I hear,
I did tell him that,
right,
when I found out, I just can't remember right now.
but you can,
I can just suggest, Judge, if
Yeah.
I may, I looked at, counsel's trying to accommodate, so I
Right.
appreciate that. But on 9/18, counsel told me that they only had it back to July 5th,
okay. And you made the request on,
8/26.
right, but that doesn't answer the last question, which is whether or not at the time you made the request, it still existed or not.
Right.
But
I-
Mr. Gubitosi, that should be easily ascertained.
Absolutely.
Sure,
I
okay.
think if you do the math, it looks like it is. And again, I appreciate the Commonwealth's efforts to try to get it. But it looks like on
Yeah.
8/26, if you do the same math, 9/18, it goes back to July 5th. 8/26, you're going to be within the window of.
You may,
Hey,
I don't know,
Pepper.
I don't know. Every video system that I've ever heard of, I've seen some that go 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, I don't know. But that's
Christina.
easily ascertainable. And Mr. Gubitosi is going to tell you about it, and then you
My
can make
flower
it.
is not cooperating.
There's no motion before the court on
Yeah.
it. I just wanted to.
Okay.
There's no
Bring it
motion,
up,
but I
Your
still want to
Honor.
talk about it, Your
Very
Honor.
important to the defense that we have that
All right.
video.
You know what?
Anything else we
I
can,
don't want to
in
cooperate.
this motion, Mr. Gubitosi, that you object to, that we can address today?
Yes.
Thank you, but these
Please,
are not
yeah.
cooperating. I should have just done space buns like I was gonna. I just didn't have time to do the space buns.
Is concerning disciplinary records for firefighters that responded.
Oh, God. Disciplinary records. It's grasping at straws here. Come on, bub.
Defendant or Mass General Hospital.
And your objection to that is?
So the firefighters are not part of the prosecution team, if they're not in care, custody, control.
I mean, you can file a Rule 17 for that, Mr.
Very good, Your Honor. That's perfectly
Bradel. I
fine.
think that's right.
Oh,
What
thank
else,
you, Mindy.
Mr. Gubitosi? Anything else?
Definitely hitting the like button will help. You can't hear? I think I have it all the way up. Yeah, it's all the way up.
Number 9,
Yep.
all statements including text, emails, voicemails, writings of like between or among any civilian witnesses, police or prosecutors. I would just say it's overbroad.
Yeah, how, Mr. Bradel, how can the Commonwealth produce
Prosecution is saying
messages between,
it's overbroad.
civilian witnesses?
Sure, I understand, Your Honor. The request should be really a little narrower, I suppose, which is whenever there's a police
Duh.
prosecution team member in the conversation,
Well,
then
that's
it
different.
should be
I agree.
discoverable.
Right.
So
So statements, Mr. Gubitosi, of people who are,
For statements that
yeah.
I'm obligated to provide in Rule
Yeah.
14, absolutely. I
okay.
agree with that, but not that.
and just, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was moving on.
Just one thing on that before you move on, Your Honor,
Yeah,
is
sure.
that,
Yeah.
it's our view, we viewed on the security video from the scene that officers are texting and calling all over the place at the scene, quite understandably.
Sure.
But we just want the text messages, and we have information that there were communications between the father of the
a little
child
ridiculous, but
and
okay.
the police officers.
Well, yeah, usually that's how it works
leading
with a
up
restraining
to-
order.
serving this warrant, leaving up.
He's a
the
victim, so-
restraining order, rather.
Yeah,
Serving the restraining order.
that's usually how it
leading up
works.
To that, and there are communications that are between the father and the
Okay.
police that we want,
Well, if
which would
any
certainly
of
be
those
statements.
materials that are in the possession, custody, or control of the Commonwealth or the North Andover Police Department need to be produced. I can't.
Kelsey
It's a
Fitzsimmons
little bit
hearing.
broad in the sense that,
Mr.
you know,
Bradel.
if there are people texting that the Commonwealth doesn't know about. it's
I
pretty hard
agree,
for them.
Judge. I don't even want to. Yeah, I can cut to the chase on that.
Let me
Statements
suggest
that involve the
something
police and prosecution team.
here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's some discovery issues here, but they don't seem insurmountable to me. And they seem like something that could be worked out.
Between the two of you.
The defendant's in custody. You are and have, as is your right, litigating the issue of her detention. And my solution to that, it's not my decision one way or the other, but it's in front of, it's in front of the SJC. But I feel that this is the type of case that is tried in the district court every day.
Yep.
It's a
It is.
serious case. All cases are serious, but it's not complicated.
Nope.
And I want to set a trial date sometime early next year, and we'll get another discovery compliance date in a few weeks. Mr. Gubitosi starting a trial December 1st. So maybe in late December, we can have another compliance date if it works for everybody to try to iron these things out, because, it's, she is in custody. I'm cognizant of that. And so my solution, whenever, and we deal with this all the time, we spend sometimes more time dealing with the issues of pretrial conditions and release. And in the time we spend doing that, we could try the case. So this case looks to me,
True.
and I could be wrong, that it could be tried in a couple of days. And she's in custody. So if the case is tried and she's found not guilty, that's the end of
He's
it.
released,
If the
yeah.
case is tried and she's found guilty,
He can't
that's
let
a
her
whole
out.
other issue. But
He can't.
the fairest thing,
It's in
it
front of the
seems to
Supreme
me,
Judicial
is to
Court.
try
The
case
Massachusetts
as
SAG.
promptly as we can. So before
you
your
can't
schedules get
let her out.
more
You
backed
can't.
up, I want to set a trial date. We can always
judge
revisit
can't
it. But what
now.
about sometime in late January, February?
That's very fair, Your Honor, and I appreciate you saying that. And I wanted to ask maybe the first week of February.
Sure. Mr. Gubitosi, how's that work for you?
I have a murder starting on the 26th of January, so if we can go to, I could do this the week of the 9th.
Okay.
That's fine.
Does that work for you, Mr. Bradle?
Yes.
Ms. Attorney Coakley?
She shouldn't still be in custody. I mean,
Of course.
Karen Reed was let out,
But
right?
this way we
On
have a
bail?
target date.
She should
Everybody
be
can
too.
check with their witnesses.
But this judge
We
can't
can
do anything.
find
now.
out and iron that problem out now. And if there's somebody who needs an adjustment for a few days, a week, one way or the other, we can work on that. But the longer we wait to do it, the more backed up we get. And again, we're going to prioritize this case. She's in custody. Maybe she will be at that time, maybe not. I don't know. But at best, for your client, she's going to be on restrictive conditions, and that's a factor as well. So let's get a trial date now. Let's shoot for that. We'll schedule it for trial on February 9th. I think that's very reasonable. And let's set another discovery compliance date that everybody can live with sometime in December. Mr. Gubitosi, you expect to be tied up for a couple of weeks?
Yep, I think I can, the week of the 15th, I should be.
Okay.
I was going to ask for maybe the 18th along those lines. I think we're in the same process.
We can do that, sure. We'll
I
do the
agree.
18th.
I agree.
And my
This judge
purpose
can't
that
do anything
day.
now, though.
Sorry, Judge, it's a calendar issue, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Judge, 18 is a tough day, it turns out. Could we do the 19th?
I'll do it. If Mr. Gubitosi is available, okay. We'll do it. Now, and I want you to have a conference, which I know you will, to see if you can work these things out or to refine or narrow the motion. And we'll revisit those things that day. I have a Zoom that's coming from a different Norfolk that we have to get to right now. So it's either that or we get
I
together
agree.
late this
Needs
afternoon.
treatment, not
Fine,
jail.
Your Honor.
Okay.
I
But
think we
this
can
judge
resolve
can't do anything now.
much of the rest of it.
Now, as far as your request, the last thing I'm going to cover is your
'Cause it's
request
in front of a
regarding
fire court.
transportation of the defendant. I allowed it today. I'm going to do it on a date-by-date basis. I mean, if the next date is
Same.
discovery motions, I don't think that it's necessary to transport her. If you want us to try to do a Zoom, we'll attempt to do it. But the goal here, again, in fairness to the defendant and everyone else, is to get the case tried promptly. So we'll have a hearing that day. I'll try to, or me or someone will iron out all of these
I'll give
issues if we
commentary on it
can. And let's
after this
keep
is
moving.
over.
I don't expect, doesn't sound like you intend to litigate a motion to suppress in this case.
Correct, Your Honor.
So that removes one common obstacle to getting this done. So working with that, I think everybody's being reasonable in terms of time. Why don't you have a further conference, exchange written responses so that there's, down the road, there's no misinterpretation. And let's see each other again in a few weeks. And I'll order a Zoom, Habe, if we can do that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay?
If-
All right.
I think that'll be fine. If there's any issue, we'll file appropriately.
And if you have a narrower motion, or you can narrow the issues, file another motion, and I'll make sure that I get a look at it, or somebody will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a great holiday. All right,
Thank you, same to
Likewise.
you.
okay.
Judge, would that be a 12 noon as well, the same thing, or does that?
I think it's her
My
mom.
boss has to tell me that right here. Okay, she says noon, then that's, we'll do it. Okay.
Welcome to Zoom government.
Okie dokie.
Enter your participant ID followed by
So I agree with you there. I wish I didn't know as much about the justice system as I do, because let's just point this out, right? Sorry. It's a clear fact, right? Kelsey Fitzsimmons is sitting in jail. Karen Reed bought her way out. That's just a clear fact, okay? Whether you're pro Karen or anti Karen, that is a fact. She had enough money to buy her freedom. That in the justice system is a huge problem, right? It's not just here in Massachusetts, it's all over the country, where if you have that money, right? Look at Bohm, $8 million bail. He's out, right? He's out. So it's like, if you got the money, you could basically buy your way out of anything at this point. You know what I'm saying? But if you do not, as in this case, right? Kelsey is sitting behind. She doesn't need a prison cell. She needs postpartum depression help, right? And basically banning her from having any contact with her child is not going to help that, right? It's a new baby. No, she had a fiance, and I have a serious concern about some of the things that him and his attorney were trying to do in this case with the custody issue. They were actually asking that the sale of her home, that the money from the sale of her home go towards future child support payments. Except the problem with that is the sale of a home is not earned income, right? And there are child support guidelines, legal guidelines that have to be followed based on your income, not based on the sale of your house. And you certainly cannot force somebody to put the money from the sale of their home into a fund that would go for future child support payments. That's not, they cannot do that. That's not legal. But that's exactly what him and his attorneys were asking for them to do, which is insane to me, that they would even ask that. A little shady, in my opinion, and insane, right? The fiance, cool, they don't have to be together. That's all well and good. But I almost feel like it's throwing salt in the wound, okay? The sale of her house is not earned income. It cannot go towards child support, and it certainly can't be put away for future child support. That's not the way it works. You can't charge somebody for future child support because there's guidelines of whether your income goes up or down and if it needs to be changed or not. There's no such thing as, hey, we're going to put this away for future child support payments. That's not a thing. It's absolutely not a thing, you know? Right. I mean, she's going to be in jail for the holiday. The problem is this judge can't let her out because it's now in front of a higher court. So this judge can't do anything until that higher court makes a ruling. And I do not know if a date has been set for that yet. But our justice system is kind of ass backwards. If you can pay for shit, then you're free as a bird during your murder trial. You know, it is. It's awful. You know? You know? Let me see if, hold on. I want to go back because I think we missed a little too, obviously, because we popped in. I want to see how much of it we missed. Judge isn't there yet. Kelsey's trial has not started. This is just a hearing for her case with Tim Bradel as her attorney, although I really think she needs to fire him. We watched, as soon as it came on, it was live. I put it on, but I think we missed a little bit of the beginning. I'm just going back to see which part of the beginning that we missed. So looks like she's being brought up right now. And this part, we kind of popped in, I think, right after it started a little. So we'll watch the beginning part that we missed. I really think she needs to fire Tim Bradel and get herself a better attorney. It's just not a good attorney, doesn't have good legal arguments. If a judge doesn't buy narrative, which is what he does, narrative, not legal arguments, but narrative. If a judge doesn't buy narrative and he can't sway the judge with narrative, Tim Bradel doesn't really know what to do.
Judge, can I ask as a preliminary matter, Ms. Kelsey might be permitted to join us? Ms. Fitzsimmons might
They
be-
should. A lot of them
No, I only
delete.
did that for a change of plea, a trial, or an evidentiary motion to suppress, and I don't see why that should be very different. So the answer is she's here at your request, but no, I'm not going to. I do it for one person, I have to be consistent.
All right, if I need some time with her, Judge, I'm just gonna have to ask for it.
Well, sure, of course you can, you can go talk to her, as much as you like.
The judge is saying he's not going to give her special treatment. Mr. Bradel's asking for something.
Today, I indicated in the phone conference that we had back in October that we could try it anytime. So let's do that.
So Judge, a couple of things on that. We think that's a little premature for several reasons. I have 3 outstanding discovery motions that we should go out and talk about today, if that's all right with the court. That sort of are, stepping stones to getting ready for trial.
Have you filed?
Yes.
Okay.
So 2 of them were filed on August 26th.
Okay.
And the other one is, and I'm certainly happy to give counsel for Cromwell some leeway. This was filed, I believe, last week,
Can't hear shit.
November 21st. And so if counsel needs more time on that one, I certainly don't have a problem with it.
I'd like to point out what he's saying right now is he filed something on the 21st, which is ridiculous because Mr. Bradel loves filing things last minute, most of the time, at 4:00 on a Friday to try to sort of, do a surprise sort of thing, which judges don't like, by the way. They don't like when you're doing that to the other side to try to like get one over. The courts are not super happy about that. And I watched Tim Bradel be yelled at by 2 separate judges for doing exactly that. So he has a very long history of filing something very last minute on purpose. And so here, I think he gets ahead of knowing the judge is probably not going to be happy about it and says, well, I filed something on November 21st, but I understand that counsel probably needs, the prosecution needs time to look at it. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know why the volume is so low in the beginning of this because it got better, obviously, in the time that we popped in. So I don't know when it starts to get better, but I'll try to tell you guys what I'm hearing. In the very beginning, the judge essentially tells Mr. Bradel, like, I'm not giving your client, he asked for something and I couldn't hear what it was, but the judge said, like, I'm not going to give your client special treatment. I'm not going to do that because I'd have to do that for every defendant. And I'm not going to do that either. So she's going to be treated as everyone else. So maybe with her funding, she can hire an additional attorney. Maybe. Listen, I would not hire Tim Bradel. If that was the only person people gave me money to hire, I would give the money back. I'm sorry. The guy is good in narrative only, and narrative is not a legal argument. So I've watched him sit there and give a judge like Judge Doolin straight narrative, and that judge eat it up with no legal argument ensuing, right? You cannot make an argument on a narrative or on what you think happened, what you think should happen. I mean, even in this hearing, as we go forward, when we started covering it, he asks for the most ridiculous things that he knows are not going to happen. And not only that, but there is no case law to support what the fuck he's asking for or even how he's asking for it. Is just absurd. And the judge kind of goes in on him for that, which is like, Mr. Bradel, you don't have the right to demand this and this, and you don't get to decide how the prosecution's office does this, this, and this. He knows that. He knows that. That's the point. He knows that. But because it's worked with judges like Judge Doolin, he thinks he can get one over on this judge too, Oh, I'll pray for you, my friend. Prayers. I'm not. I mean, he's just a bad attorney. He is, in my opinion, he is sleazy. And I do hope that Kelsey Fitzsimmons or her family realizes, like, this is not the guy that's going to help get you out of jail. Like, this is not the guy. You need a different attorney. You need to hire someone else. This guy is not a good attorney. He's willing to cut corners, do things last minute, and make legal arguments that even a judge would laugh at. I mean, come on. Talk about grasping. He did more than grasping. All right. All right. We shall go forth with this ridiculousness.
I will grant you, I'll acknowledge, Judge, that Commonwealth's given me a pretty fair amount of information that we're going through. But as you can imagine, and as I know you know, that sort of begs further questions about more discovery.
Well, I have one motion here for specific discovery.
Well, Judge, we filed 2 motions on August 26th, and I have copies of them here.
What are they entitled?
He said he filed 2 motions on August 26th. The judge said he had 1 motion there. And Brado said, well, I filed 2 motions on August 26th. And basically the judge is like, well, what do they include?
The motion for court order disclosure and release of arraignment, and there's a motion
Motion for court order disclosure.
will be in compliance with some of that or most of it. But those are really the first ones, Judge.
What is that?
Whoa.
Sorry.
Okay. The camera is allowed in the courtroom, but it has to be silent. No exceptions. Thank you.
The first one is the motion for exculpatory discovery, and that is essentially a Graham McFarland request regarding certifications by the officers, whether there's any prior incidents. And that is a predicate to a Rule 17 for that, so that we have a good faith basis, if any, to file a Rule 17 for any further information. And my brother's telling me that that's fully complied with.
Okay.
And I'll defer to him on that.
Okay.
No, I think I complied with my obligations under the.
Okay.
As far as that first motion, there are things in there that in the first motion that I do not agree to.
Okay.
And we can
It
go
was.
through that if we'd like, but other than that, we have a list of questions that we ask every potential witness, police officer.
Right.
Database, but that has all been complied with.
Okay.
But if he wants to talk about the first motion, I'm happy to do that. No action has been taken.
Which, when you say first, I've got 3 motions here.
Motion for exculpatory.
Okay.
Exculpatory discovery.
So that's essentially what we're talking about, Judge, the Graham McFarland request. And, you know, it's also obviously a Brady request as well. So I think it's more than just, you know, Graham McFarland. It's any exculpatory evidence that's known to the Commonwealth, whether it's the Commonwealth prosecution team or the police team as well.
So, Mr. Gubitosi, the motion for exculpatory discovery,
Yes,
what is it that you object to?
I object to number 1C,
Okay.
number 1D, number 1H, I,
Okay, hold on.
and J.
C, D, H, I, and J.
And then that's on number 1.
Right.
Number 2, he wants me to certify in writing that I have made inquiry of every prosecutor in my office for all items of information.
What?
I don't think I have an obligation to do that.
Right.
We did that on every single case. We do have a database. We do have a process. We do ask each individual officer these questions, but we do that on every single case in the county. That's thousands of cases to some 80 some odd prosecutors.
Right.
Every day.
Well, and it doesn't include all of the prosecutors that have passed through the office, that have come and gone over the course of the years. Are you suggesting, Mr. Bradel, that the Commonwealth needs to contact each and every prosecutor
Like,
that
come
has ever
on.
worked in the district attorney's
Ridiculous.
office throughout the officer's tenure?
No, Judge. I'm not.
Well, that's what the motion asks for.
No, it doesn't, Judge. It asks them to have Maybe they could use a computer database. Maybe they can log, just like, lawyers have record keeping responsibilities. Lawyers have conflict checks.
You don't get to
There's all
decide
sorts
that
of
though.
things that are
Well, where
precedent
they
for this
find it.
kind of a thing. When a prosecutor has a case where some questionable police activity has arisen, prosecutors can easily document that in this case, Officer Jones was found to be not credible by Judge Smith.
Well, I understand that,
Be
but
logged.
let me start with whether the officer has signed a search warrant. I probably see 2 Frank's hearing requests a month in this session, 2 or 3. Most of them are not allowed. Occasionally they are. And just because there is a Frank's hearing does not mean that there was a finding that anyone gave any false information.
Sure.
So how would anyone determine that?
Well, Judge, again, these are record keeping requests. And
But who keeps a database of that
so
for the last 10 years?
when you're a prosecutor in a district attorney's office and you finish a case, you're required to follow office procedures to close out the file.
Right.
And there's no reason why a prosecutor's office ought to exercise willful blindness about these issues.
So you feel that it's up to you to decide how the district attorney's office conducts its business?
It's up to me to decide.
Did you work in the Essex County DA's office?
Judge, I did not work in the
Okay,
Essex County
so
DA's office, but I do
From
know a
whence
little bit about it.
what are you speaking about when you say that this is how a DA's office ought to be conducting itself? What's the basis for that?
Judge, okay.
Yeah,
I
Mr.
don't
Bradel.
think it's an obscure proposition, Your Honor, that when a public agency such as the district attorney's office has to close out a case, that they have to comply with record-keeping obligations under the law,
But
under FOIA, under record-keeping.
But that's not
of all
up to
sorts of
you,
things about
sir.
what happened with the case.
Well, I understand, but Mr. Gubitosi has represented that he's gone back and searched. They have a process.
Database.
I'm sure that he'll advise you as to what the process is. And if you want to critique the process,
Cool.
that's up to
Great.
you. But in
You do
terms
that.
of them producing evidence that is in their possession, custody, and control, he can only produce what he can search for. And the fact that you disagree, maybe you do, with the way in which they keep records or
That's
the
too bad.
type of records that they keep is not an issue that I'm going to decide. I don't know of any case law that says that I'm the one,
Nope.
or you for that matter,
Doesn't
to
exist.
decide how the district attorney's office keeps records. And in fact, I'm not going to order anybody to retroactively go back and search records from, I don't know how long the officers who are witnesses in this case have been police officers in this county, but do you know, Mr. Gubitosi, off the top of your head?
And then one of them is 20-something years.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I'm not sure that I can ask them to search records they don't have, but there is whether the officer has ever attended or presented at a law enforcement training by the private vendor.
What?
Before we jump off of that one,
Yeah,
all the
That's
Commonwealth
absurd to
asked
ask for that.
The officers, there was 4 officers that were at the scene.
It's irrelevant too.
You can ask 4 officers, were you ever involved in a Frank's hearing? There are ways to do this. We don't have to act like this is some obscure thing, Your Honor.
You
This
don't
is
get to
exculpatory
decide
evidence.
for
We have
them to
every
do
right
that or
to
not.
all these things under Graham McFarland.
You
And
don't.
under Brady. Kyle
what
V.
what
Whitten.
case
don't.
says you have a right to
You do not.
find out whether any police officer on any case has ever refused to answer questions?
A police officer in our case, Your Honor.
No, in this case, what is the precedent? You've got to cite, where is the case or statute that says that
There
a
isn't
police
one.
department has to disclose to you or to anyone else when an officer declines to answer questions? There are a lot of reasons for that, I can assure you. And I'm not aware of any records that are kept of that.
Mr.
And
Brittle
I can
laughed at
assure
the
you
attorney-
that
at the judge.
it would never be
Speak it smart.
admissible under any circumstances.
Nope.
So I'm having a hard time with the concept that the DA's office or the police department has to supply you with the fact that an officer 15 years ago declined to answer questions
They don't.
after a shooting at the scene, but 2 days later answered the questions, for example, happens quite frequently. So I am reluctant to say, I doubt there's any police agency that keeps records like that. I don't know of any,
Nope,
but
they don't.
certainly the district attorney's office doesn't keep records like that.
Your Honor, I certainly am not telling you anything you don't know, but just put it out there on the record.
Narrative. This
When
is
an
a narrative.
officer takes the fifth, so to speak.
No,
it's
so to
been found
speak,
that
and
a
taking the
truthful
fifth
answer
are
would
two different
incriminate
things.
them. So it's incriminating information.
Who's made that finding? That's an interesting concept.
So I just want to throw this out there. And this is what Tim Bradle loves to do, which is throw something out there that the public can grasp onto. And you'll see this later on. I haven't even looked at Twitter yet, but I can guarantee you, and I'll tell you this now, guarantee you that his little, well, when an officer pleads the fifth, so to speak. No, see, there's a difference between so to speak, which means in his eyes, they are essentially pleading the fifth by not doing X, Y, or Z, or by doing X, Y, or Z, and actually pleading the fifth. Those are two very different things. But what you'll see later is people arguing Mr. Bradle's little narrative he just stuck in there for the public, which is, well, when they, plead the fifth, so to speak. No, there is no pleading the fifth, so to speak. You either plead the fifth or you don't. It's that simple. You either plead the fifth, like your client, the turtle, sir, or you don't, or you don't.
Because I probably represented thousands of officers at interviews, and I yet to have or even hear of someone making a determination that that person had a Fifth Amendment privilege or not. My experience has been that the department offers people a rights form, and if the department has made or ascertained that the person has a self-incrimination right, far be it from a lawyer to question that when the prosecuting or investigating agency is doing that. So again,
It's built into the law of the Fifth Amendment, Your
No, it's
Honor,
not.
that you can only take the Fifth Amendment when a truthful answer will incriminate you.
that's assuming you're ordered to,
But-
and that's
right.
assuming that the order also encompasses the
whistles.
nuances presented by
Exactly,
the
Sam.
state constitution, which
Dog whistles.
requires transactional immunity to overcome it
Bingo.
under Carney versus Springfield. So it's not as simple as you make it sound. But
Carney
let's
versus
get back to
Springfield
the
is a good
fundamental
case,
issue.
and you guys should read it.
Does the district
for the
attorney's
parts that
office
you could
keep
understand.
records of any officers that have ever invoked their rights at any proceeding that the district attorney's office is aware of?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
And if, with regard to the police department, Mr. Bradle, I'm not aware of whether they keep records of that or not. But
So
I am
fucking
certainly
annoying.
familiar with the fact
And
that
wrong.
even if that were true of a particular officer, it certainly is not admissible.
Judge Rand McFarland has a whole host of things that are not admissible, or an optimistic defense counsel
Right.
might say not yet admissible, but
No.
that's not a exclusionary factor, Your Honor. So you can't really go there. And these are all, we don't.
You
even
telling the
pretend
judge what he
like
can't
the
do?
officers are
Ooh,
in
ouch.
Alaska. They're down the street.
No, I understand.
Commonwealth can ask them all these things.
But
But they don't
does that
have to.
case say that
have
all
to.
records pertaining to an officer, any officer who has ever invoked his or her rights, either under the Fifth Amendment or Article 12, records have to be kept and they have to be disclosed? Does the case address that?
It does not say anything about.
Does the case address whether or not an
Yeah, except he's
officer
not.
who is the subject of a pending
clearly
internal
not.
affairs investigation unrelated to the matter that is before the court, that those records need to be produced?
Yes.
Nope.
Okay. And what about whether the officer has ever testified in a motion to suppress, which the motion was allowed because the officer it's pretty broad in terms of violating the defendant's rights, but assuming we could refine it a little bit,
Sure.
does the case say that you must produce that? And who's charged with keeping those records?
Your Honor, Brady says we have to produce that. The
No.
Constitution says we have to.
On any motion to suppress that was ever allowed?
No.
If an officer is found to be not credible,
Well, see, we're talking.
Well, hold
about-
on, those are two different things here. The fact that a motion to suppress is allowed does not necessarily mean that an officer was found to have lied or
Bingo.
made false statements. They're two different
That's
things.
not the reason.
People make mistakes. The purpose of the exclusionary rule is to deter police conduct, but not every motion to suppress is allowed because a judge
An
finds that
officer
an officer
lied.
lied, yes,
Not a thing.
the motions are allowed because in the
It was
court's
illegal stop.
judgment,
It
for
was illegal
example, a
search,
stop was
illegal
unjustified.
seizure.
But that doesn't mean that the court
That
found
they
that
lied.
an officer lied.
No.
In fact, I'd say most of the time that's not the case.
We're not talking about a legal ruling about an officer's conduct. We're talking about when an officer
Yeah, you have to have a
not credible.
legal
And
precedence
that's
for
what we're
that.
looking for, Judge.
And there is
Well,
one.
does your office keep records of decisions by judges saying that officers made false statements or are not credible?
Yes.
Okay,
And so,
Yeah.
and he's being cute, because what he's writing in this motion is much different than what he's saying here.
did you
Bingo.
check the database for what I just?
And so that's the difference with Tim Bradel, is he writes these ridiculous assertions in a motion that the public can consume, right? And then he gets into court and he argues differently than what ridiculous absurdness he's asking for in said motion. If you go back and read that motion, that's not, it's a lot more broad and generalized than what the fuck he's asking for right now. And even what he's asking for right now is outside of the realm of legal precedents that they have to give it to you. Can they? Sure. If they have it, do they have to keep a record like that? No, they don't. They don't have to keep a record like that.
Just outlined.
And we asked these officers, and he knows this, we asked these officers a whole host of
That's a good point. And he said, we asked these officers and he knows this. So of course he knows it, but he's still arguing it for the public, right? Acting like he doesn't know already what these two have taught. Now, remember, the prosecution and the defense oftentimes talk and they get through things without having to do motions or whatever, because they can agree upon it. And the judge at one point does say, a lot of these things could have been talked about between the two of you and not brought here, right? And I think the only reason we're really here is for public display here for Mr. Bradel. And I don't think it's doing Kelsey any good, right? I really think Mr. Bradel's done pissed off this judge to no end, and for good reason. I'd be pissed off if I was the judge too. And lawyering 101, don't grandstand and tell the judge what they can and can't do. And definitely don't piss off the judge for no real reason other than you want the public to see your performance. I think Kelsey could do much better with a different attorney, and she probably would already be free right now because Mr. Bradel kind of screwed her over, in my opinion. He was not fucking prepared the last time, and he was asking for way too much in a very short period of time. He essentially agreed to allow, okay, my client will do this, this, and this, right? And then basically wanted to remove all of those things once she was out for 2 or 3 days. Well, the judge allowed her out to agree to those. The one thing that I agree on, obviously, is that she was having a hard time breathing, right? Of course, right? And so I agree that there should have been an alternative to that. But then on top of that, he asked for the other part to come out. So essentially he was saying, oh, she's already out now. Now we want to remove all of those things that allowed her out, which is why the judge was like, yeah, no, then she's got to go back because I only let her out on these things, right? And if Mr. Bradel had just brought in a letter from her doctor saying she was having a hard time breathing with the scram, then guess what? Then he would have found an alternative. But Mr. Bradel didn't fucking do that because he thought he could just get up and say whatever he wants and the judge will buy it hook, line, and sinker. And this judge is not one that's just going to take your word for it. Sorry, not sorry. And he shouldn't take anyone's word for it. You need to see something that shows that what you're saying is true. A lot of the times defense attorneys are not on the up and up and telling the truth all the time. So, the judge needs to cover his own ass and be like, okay, well, I let her out because this letter here says that she can't do the scram device. So we're going to give her urines instead. Whatever the case may be, the judge needed something to put in that file to say, okay, this was medically, she couldn't medically do it. So we're going to give another alternative. He didn't have that because Mr. Bradel didn't fucking do that. And he could have. He just didn't.
Okay.
Whether they have convictions for facts about criminal offenses, I'll just adverse credibility findings against them from any court.
Okay.
Pending criminal investigations into your conduct, findings that you have engaged in bias, racial, or
Okay.
profiling, discrimination.
Okay.
Crime. Findings that you have engaged in untruthfulness or misconduct, implicating credibility.
And have those questions been asked of the witnesses in this case?
Yes.
Have you provided any information that's responsive to those questions?
They're
What's the complaint, Mr. Bradel?
Well, that's what I'm asking is if it's complied with, and
just said it
Oh,
was.
saying
that's
it
not
was, and
what you're
counsel got up and
Stop.
seemed to be wanting to correct me on that, and so here we are.
Okay.
So is it complied
Well-
with
Well,
or
it's
not?
on the record.
Sure is.
What else do you want?
Right.
The motion speaks for itself, Your Honor. I just want to know what the Commonwealth
Oh,
is objecting to.
The
Well,
motion,
Mr.
They gave us a
different.
list, and we can go through it.
The list of questions that you asked?
Counsel objected to 2C. Have they ever refused to answer questions citing their constitutional rights? We had a little bit of a debate about that. I think that's judge a firing offense. I believe that assistant attorneys general have been fired for that. I believe officers have been fired for taking the fifth.
Really?
You don't get to
think it's,
decide.
I think
what?
it's,
You'd
In
be
the
fired
absence
for
of
taking the fifth.
transactional immunity, officers have been fired.
I think it's
Should read
exculpatory.
Carney versus Springfield, and I think you'll find that you're incorrect.
Well,
Correct.
I think that an officer
are
that takes the
incorrect, Mr.
fifth in
Bradel.
this case about something else,
So bad.
is
He
saying,
sucks so bad.
if I answer that question, a truthful answer will incriminate me. So
Well-
I think under Graham McFarland, I think that's certainly
The case
versus
doesn't say
Springfield.
it.
discoverable.
The case doesn't say it. I don't agree with you. Carney versus Springfield says otherwise, okay? And I don't agree. So
So that's
Mr.
it.
Gubitosi, have you
Mhm.
provided a list of the questions that you have asked to the officer, or can you, or will you provide the list of questions that you ask to defense counsel? Okay. And Mr. Bradel, if the answer to all of those questions is no, and they've asked them, I'm not seeing
Conspiracy walk.
anything that would indicate otherwise in this case, then you need to examine the questions. And if you feel there's something that wasn't covered, then you can refine your motion. But I am not going to allow, and I don't think I agree with your view of the law, that whether or not an officer is refused to answer questions,
It's ridiculous.
citing constitutional rights is something that you're entitled to. In the
You're not.
immediate aftermath of critical
You're not.
incidents, officers often advantage themselves of the fact that the police department does not have transactional immunity so that they can have an opportunity to speak sometimes within 24 or 48 hours. Happens all the time. And in fact, officers are often interviewed thoroughly thereafter. So the case does not say that if you refuse to answer questions, it is fireable. In fact, it says quite the contrary. The police department does not have the ability to grant transactional immunity. Only the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the district attorney's office,
District
or
attorney's
the attorney
office.
generals have that ability. So,
That's-
so to suggest that a chief of police or commissioner
cannot do
could
that.
fire someone for invoking their rights
They'd
without
be
giving them
sued.
transactional immunity is
No.
incorrect. And so as to the extent you're asking for that, it's denied.
Denied.
Now,
The next one is D.
yeah,
Whether the officer is subject of a pending internal affairs investigation or any internal
Pending
affairs
ones are
investigations into the
usually
officer's
off limit.
conduct, whether
Because it's still pending.
these have resulted in sustained findings of misconduct. I'm not sure why there's an objection there.
Well, the way it reads is different than the way he said it.
okay,
If
Bingo.
there is a sustained finding, absolutely.
sure,
And,
okay,
and there hasn't been in this case.
okay,
With any of the officers that are involved.
okay. So that's the answer to that.
End
And
of
as
story.
far as the other questions, it seems to me H and I are covered by the questionnaire, but J,
Well, no, if I might just say, H and I, if you're gonna deny them, but they're different than what he's saying.
no, I is only, you only need to respond to I if there's been a finding by a judge that there was a misstatement in the search warrant affidavit, not whether or not defense counsel has filed a Frank's motion, because that happens routinely, and routinely the matters don't even reach an evidentiary hearing. And even if they do, it often doesn't result in a finding that there was any untruthfulness. So yes, if there has been a Frank's finding by a judge that an officer, any of these officers, made false statements in a search warrant affidavit, yes, you've asked about that, and yes, that has to be produced.
Of course.
Okay.
But H, if we can just get back to that, because we talked about that a little, and if the way counsel is talking about it, if there's been an adverse finding of credibility, of course we turn it.
Yes,
That's a no-brainer. We
Right.
do that.
But-
But that's not what that said.
No, I am not going to order the production of any motions to suppress that were allowed for any reason. First of all, it's almost impossible to ascertain that. And secondly, how many district courts in this county, Mr. Gubitosi? 7? Well,
Yeah, but you can ask the officer, Your Honor.
Well,
The officer is
he
right
They don't
has,
there.
have
and if
to.
I agree with you. If there was a finding that the officer made a false statement,
Then
you're
cool.
entitled to that. But the fact
if they
that an
didn't-
officer thought that he or she had reasonable suspicion to conduct a pat frisk and a judge disagrees does
That's
not mean
not-
that
no.
the officer was found to be untruthful. But
I
yes,
agree with
Bingo.
you. We don't
in the
need to-
course
we don't
of-
need to debate it. I agree with you.
okay, so I think we're fine. Now, Jen,
But again, Mr. Bradle's motion reads completely differently than what he's arguing in that courtroom right now. And that's a tisk, right? If you're going to write a motion, you want it pretty close to what the fuck you're going to argue in that damn courtroom. Otherwise, you're putting the judge on notice that you're going to write all this nonsensical bullshit in your motions and then change it when you get in the courtroom. It doesn't make you look like a honest person. And judges are going to fucking take notice of that, as this judge has. Just saying. I need Kelsey Fitzsimmons' family to know they need to hire someone else. You need to get her another fucking attorney. Mr. Bradle is not doing her any favors. His grandstanding and his performative bullshit is just not helping her, and it's not going to help her. They can do better with someone else.
hey, you know,
I just have no idea.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, and then they can answer that. They don't know about it, they don't know about it. That's the answer. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, is there, Mr. Gubitosi, when did you get meeting 35, the motion for specific discovery?
Friday.
Okay. Are you prepared to respond to it?
I can try to.
Okay. Is there anything in there that you object to?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that?
Of course.
Again, there are portions of number 2. And the Commonwealth will provide all witness statements.
Okay.
Pursuant to 14, just as this overbroad.
Okay.
Very overbroad because that's what he always does.
Number 4A, excuse me, 4 is asking for any and all footage from the North Andover Police Department on June 30th during the time of which Ms. Fitzsimmons was at the station. And we've already talked about that. They asked me a bit ago. They didn't ask me in time, so the footage is gone. But it just doesn't save longer than I think it's 30 days.
Okay. If something doesn't exist,
But
then,
the last paragraph, the last sentence says, the name and contact information of any officer that interacted or observed Ms. Fitzsimmons at the time.
okay,
Well, she has that information. Who she interacted with.
Right.
November 30th, 2025 at the station, so.
Yeah, they don't.
That's something.
well, first of all, maybe I'm missing something, but other than in the interview room, when someone's advised that they're being recorded and you know, they're taped, I'm not sure there's,
No, I think this is, she didn't go to the PD after the event. She went to the hospital.
okay,
For the event, it's my understanding, and this is only from what defense counsel told me.
Yeah.
That she was at the station earlier that day.
oh, okay.
Had done something, I can't remember what, during the day.
Was at the station earlier, Mr.
But she
Bradle?
knows who she interacted with.
Okay, is June 30th the date of the incident, by the way? Okay. And when was she at the station and for what purpose? What time does the incident happen?
So Your Honor, the incident is, it's in the afternoon of the
Yeah.
30th. And prior to that, Ms. Fitzsimmons was at the North Andover Police Department for a CPR recertification.
I see.
She brought the baby with her.
Okay,
So we wanted the video
Yeah.
from the station
I know why they do it.
on
I'll explain it after.
August 26th. I think the Commonwealth's going to have an issue with this, okay? On August 26th, we filed this these arraignment motions.
Right.
Asking, we put them in abeyance except for some of the more obvious ones like
Right.
preserve notes, preserve video,
Sure.
tell people who are video holders to hold on to the video. That was August 26th. So the
Okay.
Commonwealth was on notice as of August 26th.
Yep.
The video.
You made it out.
I am fairly certain was present and available then when they were given notice of this motion. And I believe the court allowed those preliminary requests.
Well, there are two issues there. First of all, though, when you say August 26th, was that filed in this court
Correct.
when she was arraigned?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Gubitosi, do you know, first of all, I don't know because not that familiar with the North Andover police station, whether or not they even have cameras that would have videoed the presence of the defendant at the station on that day.
I don't blame
Okay.
you.
And
I
do you know
don't.
how often those are recorded over?
Not at the present time.
Okay.
I did, when we spoke about it, I called.
Back in August?
It was gone, I can't remember.
Okay, okay. So the issue then becomes whether or not the request was made. First issue is whether or not you're confident the video doesn't exist today.
Correct.
Okay. The first question is, I think that the defense counsel's entitled to know when the video, how often they tape over. I mean, I hear,
I did tell him that,
right,
when I found out, I just can't remember right now.
but you can,
I can just suggest, Judge, if
Yeah.
I may, I looked at, and counsel's trying to accommodate, so I
Right.
appreciate that. But on 9/18, counsel told me that they only had it back to July 5th,
okay. And you made the request on,
26th.
right, but that doesn't answer the last question, which is whether or not at the time you made the request, it still existed or not.
Right.
But
I-
Mr. Gubitosi, that should be easily ascertained.
Absolutely.
Sure,
I
okay.
think if you do the math, it looks like it is. And again, I
Is-
appreciate the Commonwealth's efforts to try to get it. But it looks like on
Yeah.
8/26, if you do the same math, 9/18, it goes back to July 5th. 8/26, you're going to be within the window of.
You may, I don't know. I don't have, every video system that I've ever heard of, I've seen some that go 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, I don't know. But that's easily ascertainable. And Mr. Gubitosi is going to tell you about it, and then you can make of it what
I
you need to
appreciate
make of it.
And there's no motion before the court on
Yeah.
it. I just wanted to.
Okay.
Bring it up, Your Honor, that it's very important to the defense that we have that
All right.
video.
Anything else we can, in this motion, Mr. Gubitosi, that you object to that we can address today?
Yes, I could do that.
Please, yeah.
Number 6 is concerning disciplinary records for firefighters that responded to the home address of the defendant or the Mass General Hospital.
And your objection to that is?
So the firefighters are not part of the prosecution team, if they're not in care, custody, control.
I mean, you can file a Rule 17 for that, Mr.
Very good, Your Honor, that's perfectly
Bradle. I
fine.
think that's right. What else, Mr. Gubitosi? Anything else in this motion?
Number 9.
Yep.
All statements, including text, emails, voicemails, writings, of like between or among any civilian witnesses, police or prosecutors. I would just say it's overbroad.
Yeah, Mr. Bradle, how can the Commonwealth produce messages between people who are not, civilian witnesses?
Sure, I understand, Your Honor. The request should be really a little narrower, I suppose, which is whenever there's a police prosecution team member in the conversation,
Well,
then
that's
it
different.
should be
I agree.
discoverable. So
So statements, Mr. Gubitosi, of people who are,
For statements that
yeah.
I'm obligated to provide in Rule
Yeah.
14, absolutely.
Okay.
I agree with that, but not that.
and just, sorry.
No, I was moving on.
Just one thing on that before you move on, Your Honor,
Yeah,
is
sure.
that,
Yeah.
it's our view, we viewed on the security video from the scene that officers are texting and calling all over the place at the scene, quite understandably.
Sure.
But we just want the text messages, and we have information that there were communications between the father of the child and the police officers leading up to serving this warrant, leaving up the restraining order, rather, serving the restraining order, leading up to that. And there are communications that are between the father and the
Okay.
police that we want,
Well, if
which would
any
certainly
of
be
those
statements.
materials that are in the possession, custody, or control of the Commonwealth or the North Andover Police Department need to be produced. I can't, it's a little bit broad in the sense that, if there are people texting that the Commonwealth doesn't know about. it's
I
kinda hard
agree,
for them.
Judge. I don't even want to, I can cut to the chase on that.
Let me
Statements
suggest
that involve the
something
police and prosecution team.
here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's some discovery issues here, but they don't seem insurmountable to me. And they seem like something that could be worked out. The defendant's in custody. You are and have, as is your right, litigating the issue of her detention. And my solution to that, it's not my decision one way or the other, but it's in front of the SJC. But I feel that this is the type of case that is tried in the district court every day. It's a serious case. All cases are serious, but it's not complicated. And I want to set a trial date sometime early next year, and we'll get another discovery compliance date in a few weeks. Mr. Gubitosi starting a trial December 1st. So maybe in late December, we can have another compliance date if it works for everybody to try to iron these things out, because, she is in custody. I'm cognizant of that. And so my solution, whenever, and we deal with this all the time, we spend sometimes more time dealing with the issues of pretrial conditions and release. And in the time we spend doing that, we could try the case. So this case looks to me, and I could be wrong, that it could be tried in a couple of days. And she's in custody. So if the case is tried and she's found not guilty, that's the end of it. If the case is tried and she's found guilty, that's a whole other issue. But the fairest thing, it seems to me, is to try the case as promptly as we can. So before your schedules get any more backed up, I want to set a trial date. You can always revisit it, but what about sometime in late January, February?
That's very fair, Your Honor, and I appreciate you saying that. And I wanted to ask maybe the first week of February.
Sure. Mr. Gubitosi, how's that work for you?
I have a murder starting on the 26th of January, so if we can go to, I could do this the week of the 9th.
Okay.
That's fine.
Does that work for you, Mr. Braden?
Yes.
Ms. Attorney Coakley?
Always with the caveat that I haven't checked with any witnesses.
Of course.
Sure.
And but this way we have a target date. Everybody can check with their witnesses. We can find out and iron that problem out now. And if there's somebody who needs an adjustment for a few days, a week, one way or the other, we can work on that. But the longer we wait to do it, the more backed up we get. And again, we're going to prioritize this case. She's in custody. Maybe she will be at that time, maybe not. I don't know. But at best, for your client, she's going to be on restrictive conditions, and that's a factor as well. So let's get a trial date now. Let's shoot for that. We'll schedule it for trial on February 9th, I think.
So what the judge is saying is essentially she's in custody. So you want to get the trial over with so that if she's found not guilty, she can be released. Right. So I will tell you though, Jim, that's actually pretty normal. So you have to remember they were serving a restraining order. So usually the police are in touch with the victim to let them know when it was served, and that they're going to serve it, like before they serve it, and then like after they serve it or during serving it. They usually are in touch with the victim to tell them like, okay, they've been served. So that's not such a huge problem for me. Um, uh, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty standard. I think obviously if they had a personal relationship with him outside of that, that's where it would become a problem. Then the overwriting, it happens with, I agree with you, they should all have a cloud at this point, but they don't, because again, money and all that. Be like, let's be clear here. I worked for a prison, okay? And the computers that we had, the Department of Correction never upgraded, and those things were fucking ancient. So by the time we got in there, those computers were still the old-fashioned, like big back, sort of freezing, old-ass computers that just were not replaced for over a decade, all right? And so we're not talking about a place that puts money into their tech, just the government in general. You're talking about government agencies. Most of them are running, except if you're like, the FBI, the NSA, you're running on really old tech, right? The computers are old. They're going to be. And so I agree with you. There should be a cloud, but most police stations do like 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days, and it rewrites because they just don't have the capacity to keep buying storage or paying for it to keep recording. So they overwrite it, like rewrite it. Everything rewrites after it's automatically set to rewrite after a certain amount of days. So yeah, so in the beginning they had like an audio issue, Michael. The camera did, and even the prosecution, you can't really hear them great unless you have it on a TV. I have a headphone in, and I was having a hard time hearing them. I had to like listen and read the closed captioning, and to hear it all. But like halfway through, you hear this big loud noise, and then you can hear at least Mr. Bradel better, unfortunately. This is the Kelsey Fitzsimmons hearing that happened today. Oh God, road rage. These people have serious road rage. I sometimes I really hate that I don't have a car, and other times I'm like, those are the things that I don't miss, the road rage. I'm telling you, they go, I think, listen, in Massachusetts, they're at the dump 24/7, not even just the holidays, just every day. You're like, where did these people get their licenses? Out of a Cracker Jack box? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? I'm telling you, it's bad. It's so bad. But this is the end of it. This is the end of the hearing. So this judge can't let her out, right? Because now it's in front of the SJC. So this judge has to wait for a ruling from the SJC for, what Mr. Bradel's argument is, essentially. So, I mean, that's why this judge can't like make a ruling on whether, to let her out ahead of time. I do think it's a goddamn shame though, because she doesn't need prison. She needs mental health help, and that prison isn't going to give you that kind of there. Like I said, Bridgewater is an exception, but it's a men's prison. Okay. I worked there. It's a men's prison for, mental health. They don't really have that for women, right? They have it for men, but they don't have it for women. She's not going to get the care that she needs that's going to help her in prison. She's just not. That's the bottom line. I do think that is partly the fault of her attorney, Mr. Bradel, and his lack of being prepared, his grandstanding, instead of just bringing the proper paperwork to say, here you go, Your Honor, here's the proof. He didn't have that. And that's a problem, right? Just saying. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying, all right? I think she could do better. It sounds like Miss Coakley is also representing her, although we don't hear a peep out of her. I do think she might have been able to give a better argument than what Mr. Bradel's doing. He's literally challenging rules that don't exist and laws that don't exist. So, I mean, you can interpret the law any way you want, but the judge is the ultimate decider. And if you're way outside of what it says, there's no interpretation in the world that's going to make what you're saying correct. Right? It's just not. Hey, standing. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. There's not much that can happen. I don't know when the SJC thing is scheduled. Let me see if I can look it up. See if it pops up if I I think 4 days ago, it says, incredible to believe prosecutors fight Kelsey Fitzsimmons' attempts to get out of jail. Essex County prosecutors urged the full bench of the Supreme Judicial Court to keep Kelsey Fitzsimmons in jail. So they already argued it, I guess. Arguing a lower court judge who ordered the 29-year-old police officer to be jailed but did not abuse her discretion or make an error of law. Fitzsimmons, a North Andover police officer, is accused of aiming a gun at a fellow officer, serving her a restraining order obtained by her fiancé on June 30th. She denies aiming the gun at the officers who shot her in the chest and has claimed she attempted suicide. You picked up a weapon, right? This is the problem. And I don't think anybody is disputing that she picked up the weapon. She's not even disputing that she picked up the weapon. The dispute is she didn't point it at them. Irrelevant. You picked up a weapon, a gun, nonetheless. What would you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? You have to put yourself in anyone's shoes there. If you pick up a weapon, what do you think they think you're going to do with it? You know what I mean? It's kind of common sense there. So they shot her in the chest, right? She claimed she was attempting suicide, but in September, she was sent to jail after a Superior Court judge reversed a previous order that allowed her release on conditions. The judge did so after Fitzsimmons' lawyers said she couldn't complete court-ordered alcohol testing without pain. Since then, Fitzsimmons and her team have sought to undo the judge's order, essentially every legal avenue available to them, eventually taking their appeal to a full bench of the Supreme Judicial Court. Why is this all blurry? I am so confused as to why the rest of this is blurry here. This is really strange. Let me see here. It's just that way. It's still showing as like just blurry. Bottom line is, I guess we're waiting for a decision on that, I guess. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it's usually the opposite. We hope you feel better. You're fighting a cold. I mean, we're hanging in there, you know. I have today and tomorrow to celebrate with you great people, because obviously Thursday, Thanksgiving, I won't be here. Friday is my birthday. I won't be here. Saturday, is my day off. Sunday, we will be here. But tomorrow, actually, the kids don't have school. So that live will not be as long as it usually is, just because, like, you know, the kids don't have school. So what is happening? Oh, also, I need to ask you guys a question. Can anybody answer this for me? Right? Somebody asked me this and I do not have the answer. When you are trying to order from a wish list, somebody who lives in a different country than you, do you have to make a second Amazon account from that country? I remember somebody who was in the UK at one point buying something off my wish list, but I can't remember how to do it. I think you have to sign into the US, like change your country to the US, like on Amazon to the US version in order to do it and make an account for the US version, as far as I understand. But I might be wrong. I don't know. I have no idea. I do not know how to do that. I thought you could just click on it, buy it, whatever. You should be able to. But I guess there's an issue with trying to buy in between countries. I don't know. I was hoping maybe one of you people knew a way around that, because I certainly do not. And I looked it up and that's what it said, but I can't remember how the other person ended up doing it. So if any of you wonderful people know how to do it, please let us know, because I don't have the answers. And I'm trying to get that answer for someone and I don't have it. I apologize. I don't have all the answers, folks. I have some, but not all. So what do you guys think about this? I need some input here, right? My wonderful friend Karen from True Crime and Wine said to me this morning, she said, Elisa, why don't you talk to your audience for your Christmas Eve party, your pajama party on Christmas Eve, and see if people want to do like a secret Santa? I was like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. There's a lot of logistics involved in that. I said, but what about stockings? What about like an exchange of stockings, right? Like we do like a wheel or something and everybody gets a person who wants to participate, and then you send the stocking to said person, right? That would be so fun. I feel like that would be super fun. And then you can open them on the Christmas Eve, because I'm going to open the link on Christmas Eve for people to join me on screen. You know, like Christmas stockings. Christmas stockings. Yeah, that's how I say it, all right? God damn it. Stockings. It's my goddamn Boston accent that comes out once in a while, you know? Can't help it. It's not my fault. It just pops out when it feels like it. When I get mad, when I am like yelling, that's when you really hear it. Like when I'm yelling and I get mad, that's when you really hear it. But I thought that was a very cute idea. And I said, you know what, Karen, that's a freaking adorable idea. I said, let me bring it to my audience and see if they want to do it. And so what I'll say is, if that's something that you guys are interested in, you can send an email to my email and we'll throw everyone's name on a wheel. And then I thought about this, right? We'll throw everyone's name on a wheel, right? And you'll get a person. And then that person I'll give you guys like emails to each other, and you can send that person, or you can send me your address and I'll send it to that person, right? And that would be so fun. Why did it come out with big letters? Oh my God, I can't today. All right, you guys. Ignore that. I don't know why it's all in half letters and big letters. All right. God damn it. Also, everybody remember, if you're here in Mass, the liquor stores are closed on Thanksgiving. You cannot get liquor on Thanksgiving. So I suggest if you would like a beer or champagne or whatever you're trying to get before Thanksgiving, you do it tomorrow. If you're trying to order anything and you want it before Thanksgiving or even by Friday, I'd order it now. Right? Today. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Because remember, there's not going to be nothing open on Thanksgiving. So that's like an extra day if you're waiting for it by the weekend, or if you want something by Saturday or Sunday, I would order it now, because you might not get it if you wait until tomorrow, because then Thursday gets skipped and that's not getting delivered. So then you'll have to get it Friday or Saturday, you know? So, and Amazon's having their like weird week-long Black Friday sale thing. I much prefer like Cyber Monday. You know, I don't want to be in the stores on Black Friday. My birthday's already on Black Friday. Thankfully, what happens is all the stores are cleared out by the time I would like to go have dinner and drinks with friends. Hopefully, I can still do that. Fingers crossed. But by the time that happens, all the stores are cleared out and everyone's gone. So hopefully the traffic is not terrible at that point, right? Hopefully. It's a hopefully. Right? I would avoid. I'd much rather, if I had an option, I don't usually do either Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but if I had to choose, it would be Cyber Monday, because no, I can't do, like, I can do crowds, but the crowds for shopping, not so much. I can do crowds if you're in like a pub, right? Or like a restaurant that has a bar and music. I can do crowds then, because people are just enjoying themselves, right? They're dancing, they're laughing, they're having a good time. Like that I can do. Crowds and standing in lines to check out, people fighting over the last vacuum for $62. Nope, not my cup of tea. Don't want to do it. Remember when people used to pitch tents in front of Best Buy for their Black Friday deals and stay there overnight? Like right after they ate their turkey dinner, they would head over there with their hot cocoa and their tents and their portable heating devices and chairs and sit right out front of Best Buy or Walmart or wherever. Back in the day, it was like the CD stores, right? Remember those? People do. I'm hoping they don't lose their. Okay, so everybody, I need to do like a finger cross for me that they don't lose their damn minds when I'm out that night. Y'all can lose your minds during the day. I just want to just be able to sit, eat some food, have a couple drinks, laugh with some friends, and then go home, right? Let them lose their minds before. I had it like before. Okay, so I can do what? You can add the UK address to your addresses under accounts and lists at checkout. Choose the UK address that you added. If you want. So, hold on. So basically what you're saying is if someone from the UK was trying to purchase something from my wish list, they'd have to add my address to their UK account. Is that how it works? Is that what you mean? And then when they are at checkout, they would choose the US account, the US address. Those videos were the best. I'm not going to lie. If you never watched a Black Friday brawl video, some of them are quite funny. All right. People are like hitting each other for a TV. Like, really? I never did a Black Friday or Cyber Monday buy for like a TV or something expensive like that. And I've never done it. I've gone out one time on Black Friday and it was for a sale at Victoria's Secret Pink because it's my favorite store and I love Victoria's Secret Pink. And they were having a really good sale on their pants, leggings, and hoodies. And so that is the one and only time I have ever done a Black Friday sale. And it was at a mall and it was a freaking nightmare. All right. Not necessarily the bars, but the stores surrounding where they are. And that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. People do lose their ever loving minds. All right. They do. They lose their freaking marbles. They lose their marbles. All right. Oh my gosh. Those episodes were hilarious. Oh my God. Do you guys remember Tickle Me Elmo? Who doesn't remember the Tickle Me Elmo phase? If you're okay, I remember, my mom going out to try to find the Tickle Me Elmo for my sister. And again, me and my sister, my two younger sisters are 7 and 9 years apart. Okay. And I'll never forget, my mother came back. There was no Tickle Me Elmo. She did not come back with a Tickle Me Elmo. But I remember her saying she went to like a billion stores to try to get a freaking Tickle Me Elmo. Of all the things in the world that could be sold out, Tickle Me Elmo was it. The Tickle Me Elmo. Of all things on planet Earth, Tickle Me freaking Elmo. Like, OMG. You bought it before Christmas? I'm sure that's smart. You used to work at Best Buy? Oh my God. Bless your soul, my friend. Bless your soul. The Furbies. Do you guys remember when the Furbies started catching fire? It was like on the news. If you put the Furbies, they're supposed to be able to talk to each other, but something was wrong with like the batteries in them. And if you put them talking to each other for too long, the thing in their head would like catch the other one on fire or something. It was crazy. It was crazy. I remember Gigapets. I remember Pogs. Do you guys remember Pogs? Obviously, Pokemon cards. Those are still like a big thing. All right. Oh, no. Oh, no. Leah just made it out alive. We shall hope that you make it out alive, Jesse. Okay, I get it. So they add the address to their accounts. And when they check out, they choose the US address. Oh, got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you, Ski, because I did not have the answer to that. I had no freaking idea. No idea how that worked. I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Me and Jesse tried to figure it out and we could not figure it out. So I appreciate that. I don't have the answers to everything. I try for you guys, but I don't always have the answers to everything. But damn, do I remember the Furbies, the Pogs, okay? The Gigapets they tried to ban from school. The Gigapets, okay? And I remember there was some seriously crazed, like, toys for Black Friday that the parents went full. Do you guys remember the Hatchimal? The big egg? Do you guys remember that one? That one wasn't too far off. That was like 10 or so years ago, but the Hatchimal, it was that stupid egg and the thing hatches out of it. Crazy. Works between US and Canada. Okay, perfect. Oh my God, the Cabbage Patch Kids. You guys remember the Garbage Pail Kids? It was like a spoof of the Cabbage Patch Kids. Hilarious. We should have Grok make us a sewer turtle garbage pail kid. I wonder if ChatGPT could do that. Let's see. Let's see if it can do it. Hey, ChatGPT, can you do this? Can you make me? I don't know what the craze is this year. That's a good question. I don't know. My kids aren't super picky. They know we're not rich people. We live paycheck to paycheck. So my kids aren't super picky. They don't ask for gaming systems. We don't own gaming systems. I think my middle is the only one that's always asked for one. My other two could care less about a gaming system. We've never been able to afford one. They're way too expensive. But my kids aren't super picky, so they don't need like the next best awesome, craze gift. They're just happy with whatever they get. They tell you what they like. Like my little one loves Stitch. She loves Stitch. And she's also very girly. She likes to do her nails and things like that. And my oldest wants Audible because she's blind and wants to be able to hear books. She used to be able to read them. Obviously now she can't. But Audible gets expensive. And she wants like ceramics to paint so she can paint ceramics. So I mean, and my middle is she likes art, but she also likes those, like, they call them like manga books, which they're like, I don't know, Chinese or Japanese sort of. It's almost like anime, but in a book, essentially. They all love Taylor Swift. So, I mean, they're not, oh my God, Tigger. I remember that one, the Tigger. OMG. We kind of live close to the Cabbage Patch Hospital. My husband asked for the gaming systems. Christy said, I love that. My husband doesn't game. My husband plays actual, like, sports. He plays softball. So he gets his exercise in by actually playing softball. He has never been into games or gaming systems. Although I do think it would be fun to play with the kids once in a while, especially in middle, because she's the one who likes them. But we've never had a gaming system. They're way too expensive. They're like $500. That'd be your only gift. And then I'd have to skimp on even doing any of the other kids. If one kid would get one gift, that would be it. That'd be what under the tree. If I could even come up with that. Thank you, Beach. That was Tigger. I remember Tigger. That was a craze. Tigger was a craze. Oh, I was doing this. I want to see if it can make us a garbage pail kid. Let's see. Let's see if it can do it. I know a lot of people that are gamers, but my kids I have all girls. And so my middle is the only one that's ever really been interested in that kind of stuff. I think my oldest is too busy, like, being poked and prodded by doctors, to be honest. And my youngest isn't really into, that kind of, like, she might want to play something once in a while, and she can play it she used to be able to play it on her tablet. Tablet broke months ago. I was pissed because we paid like over $100 for that tablet for her birthday, and it wasn't her fault. It was the charging port itself. And then I looked it up and found out, like, that was an issue with that tablet, that the charging ports would just go and it wouldn't charge anymore. And I'm like, she took really good care of it, as she always does, even at her, young age. I think it's making it. It's making us a garbage pail kid card. It's doing it. It's slow, but it's doing it. I asked to make us a sewer turtle garbage pail kid card. Okay. And it's doing it. I mean, I would love to play once in a while. I remember playing Crash Bandicoot as a kid. And the tiki guy, he went unga bunga, right? And so we had a tiki as for the kids for the birthday party this past weekend for my youngest. And it was a tiki. And I was like, its name is now Unga Bunga. All right. That was the and they smashed that piñata open. But I remember playing like Crash Bandicoot for like an hour or two at night, and it was fun, or on the weekends with my sisters. My mom had bought us a PlayStation 1, maybe PlayStation 2, I don't know, one of them. And we definitely had fun, but it wasn't a thing we did all the time. We played street hockey and stickball, and I did soccer and cheerleading. So I think it's a happy medium, Oh, yeah, because you can play other games now. Back when I was a kid, you couldn't do that. You could play like, two-player, someone with you, but you couldn't play online back then, like with other people and talk in the earphones. You couldn't do that when I was a kid. That's like a whole new thing now. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. I loved Crash Bandicoot. I'm still a kid sometimes too, believe me. All right. Did you not hear my Nerf gun story yesterday? I'm a kid at heart too, I think it's why it's partly important to me that I actually get out to go out for my birthday, because I haven't celebrated my birthday with friends since like 2018. And oh my God, it made it. It made it. And it's really, important that once in a blue moon, even if it's every 8 years or whatever, every 6 or 7 years for my birthday, that I actually do one thing for myself. I don't usually. I usually just skip mine and call it a day. Especially because all of my kids' birthdays are in the same area. I think that's, another reason why, because I usually skip mine to save the money. But someone pointed out to me, rightly so, that like, hey, you haven't celebrated your birthday since like before COVID. Don't you think that you at least deserve to have one night for a few hours to go out with some friends and just take your mind off everything? And I sat there and I thought about it for a while, and I was like, you know what? You're right. You're not wrong. You're right. You are right. Whether that's still going to be feasible for me, I don't know. Okay, ready? I got it. Dun, 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 dun. Wait. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. This is your garbage pail kid. Thank you, ChatGPT. Sega. I loved Sega. I had Duck Hunt when I was a kid. My grandparents got the first Nintendo, and I had Duck Hunt. This is the sewer turtle. It is. This is it. This is what it gave me. This is what it. Oh my gosh, how many times? Anybody ever do that thing with the remote where you do this and you move when you're like doing like Mario Kart or something? Because that's an old game I used to play, right? And you do this when you're doing a corner, even though moving the remote doesn't actually do anything. I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. I'm just saying. That's pretty funny. Thanks, ChatGPT. We appreciate you. Do this. Or anybody have a kid or a husband that does this? Let me stick their tongue out when they're playing a video game. My brother used to do that. Stick his tongue out when he was playing with a video game. I'm like, dude, do you ever not stick it in? Then once I pointed it out to him, he was trying not to do it. It's like a thing when women have to open their mouth when you do eyeliner. You ever notice if you try to do eyeliner and keep your mouth closed, it's almost impossible. You never notice that? It's like a thing, okay? Happy medium. That's exactly right, right? Happy medium. Definitely a happy medium. I mean, this one definitely is cuter than the real one. It's the mini sewer turtle. Garbage pail kids. Thanks, ChatGPT. We appreciate you. I wonder if Grok will make what's Grok's version of it? Super Nintendo. Yeah. I remember after a while, they came out with the whole like dance one, and we used to do that one. My mother got that for my sisters, and I was long not living at home at that point. I was an adult, but we would go to my mom's, and we would go to and play every Thanksgiving and Christmas the Dance Revolution games, and I would win every time. And my sister used to get so pissed off because I would play one sister and then I'd play the other one. And I get so pissed off, and I'm like, you're not going to beat me in this game. And it was like a tradition for a long time until it wasn't anymore. But that's what we would do. We would play Dance Revolution on, I think it was Wii, right? We had the remotes. That was before like virtual reality was like an actual thing. Now virtual reality is an entire thing. Mortal Kombat. I can't lie. I love Mortal Kombat. It is so funny. I know, probably not. I didn't even know she had a hearing today. Right? The rivalry is pretty funny. Mortal Kombat is just one of those like games though. Like it will go down in history. Everybody who's anyone knows, even if you don't play, because I don't play video games, right? If you don't play, you know what the hell Mortal Kombat is. All right. It's like Tekken. Isn't like Tekken. All right. Finish him. Finish him. Who doesn't like, nostalgia? Nostalgia is a huge thing. Gotta love some nostalgia. Okay. Got to. Let's see if Grok gives us one. Let's see. Let's see what Grok gives us. Since we're just doing, we covered the Kelsey stuff. Oops. What did I just do? God damn it. All right. What's happening here? All right. Let's see. Where's Grok? Where are you, Grok? Here you are. So funny you say that. My oldest daughter's dad, his birthday's Christmas Eve. And what I used to do is do his birthday a week earlier so that he wouldn't feel gypped. You know what I mean? Like do his birthday a week ahead of time and then do Christmas on Christmas. Because of course, I mean, here's the thing. 2 of my kids' birthdays are in December. Thankfully, they're at the beginning, the first 2 weeks of December. But even my birthday being right around Thanksgiving, it's hard to get people who can afford to go out, want to go out, have the time to go out around the holidays, right after the holiday. And so there's a reason why I haven't really celebrated for many years. And it's usually because people are strapped for cash. They have prior engagements. Like last year, my birthday was on Thanksgiving. So it's like, this year it's on a Friday, but it's still Black Friday, which is a shit show. So, I think having a birthday around the holidays in general kind of fucking sucks. Not going to lie. Definitely sucks. But it's my last year in my 30s and I probably won't celebrate a 40th, right? Like, I don't feel like that's a fun milestone. But I'm still crossing my fingers that somehow, some way I will pull this out of my ass and be able to do this and go out and have a couple drinks and just laugh and have a good time. It is, I saw a screenshot of new graphics on, was it Tekken or Mortal Kombat? I can't remember, but I was like, that does not look like the Mortal Kombat I played when I was a kid. He had a rant. Was there a rant that I missed? Let's see. About Nan. Oh, yeah, I'm not. It's not something I'm going to do. Yeah, mine are too. Mine are within 3-4 weeks. 3-4. Three. From November 21st to December 10th. So, yeah, 3 weeks. All in 3 weeks. All 3 of them. And mine. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about here. What is this? This is not, no. Oh boy. No. Let's see what it gives me. 2 of mine were due December 31st. And I was due December 31st. Oh boy. I mean, let me see. No, I don't think it had anything to do with money with the Nan thing. So I'll show, hold on. Oh, Grok didn't do a good one. To be fair, Chat GPT's was way better. Got to work on that, Grok. All right. You got to work on that. This was the Grok's version of the sewer turtle. This is not a Garbage Pail Kid card, okay? Grok, that's what I asked for. This is what ChatGPT gave me. Way better, all right? Grok, ChatGPT. I'm just saying. Okay, so, right? Too happy, Grok. Exactly. The Garbage Pail Kid one that ChatGPT gave me was so much better. Just saying. So, as far as I understand, the Nan thing was her accusing Jimmy of stream grape, and I'm going to say grape, stream graping her. Okay, that's I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, it's like an actual term. Had no idea it was an actual thing. Okay, so he accuses her of that, and I don't know why. But let's see. Why is my computer so slow right now? While I am waiting to give you guys some context here, don't worry, I'll explain it better in a second when this. I don't know why my computer is so slow right now loading, but when it decides it's going to load, I will give you better idea of what happened here. Why computer? Just why are we doing this? It's like not, you know what? I have a phone for a reason, right? We'll just use the phone. Just use the phone. Yeah, I don't blame you, Ski. What she did to Donna was fucked up and beyond comprehension for someone who is an attorney. Weird that she would do it. Yeah, so that's okay. So you can't say take the G off grape. Okay? You can't say that word on stream, or a lot of the times they'll like shadow ban it, or like, you know what I mean? You can't say that word, right? On a lot of social media for various reasons of like shadow banning, and they don't think it's appropriate, whatever. So the grapes are essentially the word that people use instead of the RAPE word. They say grape instead of RAPE, because if you say it, then you can get yourself shadow banned or blocked, So instead of doing that, people say grape, right? And so she accused him. I'll pull it up. Hold on. So what is happening here? God damn it. I have it in a screenshot anyway, so we'll just go to that. All right. So Auntie Deb, which is Jimmy, put a post up, and it said, Sorry, I'm kind of okay. Let's see. What is happening? God, it's here somewhere. Oh, here. Oh, no, that's not it. That's okay. Blah, 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 blah. Where is it? Oh, for the love of God, where did I get it? Basically, it says like, oh, it's a term, right? Like it's a term. I don't know why this is not loading. Hold on. I don't understand. Oh, that's why. Hold on. That makes more sense here. Okay, so it says what the yeah, so she made it up. It's like saying it's stream grape. Which I don't even know what I didn't know that was a term, right? I had no idea that it was a freaking term at all. All right. But she says like apparently that he stream grape her, right? And so he looks it up and says, "Oh my God, it's an actual thing. This is an actual term that's actually used." And I'm like, wait a second, it's an actual term, right? You know, that's what you come up with when you Google it. Is Google says it's an actual term, right? But now it apparently is. I don't know. So it says, let's see. Oh my God, he wrote, oh my effing God, it's real. It's called stream grape because attackers deliberately choose real sexual assault footage, often ripped from the dark web sources or old shock sites to traumatize the victim and their audience. It is not hyperbolic in the sense that actual grape videos are frequently used. This is considered a serious form of online harassment in many jurisdictions. Distributing real CSAM or revenge porn material this way can be a felony. Platforms like Twitch have banned media share features for many streamers because of how frequently they were abused for this exact purpose. In short, it's a deliberate, malicious attack that weaponizes real sexual violence footage against a live streamer. Now, I have no idea why she accused him of that. I don't have any clue. And so this is why everyone is putting grapes on their thing. Okay? That's the reason. That's the whole ass reason why you see grapes on everyone's stupid profile right now is Auntie Deb, aka Jimmy, posted the grapes, and so now everybody's putting the grapes as their thing, right? It says, "I stand in solidarity. Please, for 24 hours, change your profile photo to the Stream Grape National Stream Awareness Grape Day to show your support for all those affected in silence. Thank you. Keep showing off." And that's sort of a play on, I think, Nan saying "keep showing up." I have no idea why that's a thing. I know he did a space yesterday. It says Haggard Sea Wench. This is what Auntie Deb wrote, aka Attorney Nan Gallagher or Lawferio. This cropped screenshot that's hiding the username is actually helpful. That comment was from a sock account right after the stream grape ended. My response was, you might have to look up what this means, which was sarcasm. I went to the user's page and they were a new YouTube user that had never commented on my channel before. It was deleted within an hour and you have a screenshot of it. So you're the one with sock accounts. No wonder you spend your golden years searching for trolls because you are one. I'm not even surprised. It's alarmingly clear how insecure and spiteful you are. Grow the fuck up and go be with your kids, you swamp witch. Class will be fun tomorrow. So I don't know why this is even a thing. I guess that they're having a sort of back and forth, you know? Well, I don't know what she did in this scenario, but I know what she did to Donna, and that was pretty fucking shitty, right? Somebody calls you for, advice, legal advice, and the person that person has an order on, aka the sewer turtle, you send the voicemail straight to him. That's like helping to harass someone. You're an attorney. A, you know better. B, it breaks rules of professional conduct 1.18, right? A person who calls for any sort of legal advice has confidentiality and privacy. You are violating that by handing that over to the very person that she has an order against at the time. So, I mean, it's not rocket science that it's not fucking smart as an attorney to do this shit, you know? She is very immature. I agree. Very immature. And she picks fights with a lot of people. That's very clear. I haven't been on. I just realized last night that Twitter is hiding messages from me. Okay. So you know how they did that new message thing? Well, now messages are in 2 separate places on Twitter. So you might be missing messages that you didn't even know you had. I had some from like over a week and a half ago that I had no idea existed. Okay. And it's because on your phone, if you click on your like face, your profile thing, a list pops up and it'll say like home, explore, notifications, and then it'll say chat, right? You have to click on chat, and then anybody who updated their encrypted messaging, it'll be there. Anybody who didn't, it'll still be in the bubble below where you would open your chat. It's in 2 separate places right now on X for no real reason. So I had missing messages that I didn't even know existed. All right. Oh, I'm definitely not saying that he is. I'm not a fan of either one of them. Let's be clear about that. All right. Not a fan of either one. Maybe. I don't know if he did, but I do know that Donna did, and that was a whole shit show that Nan did, and it was wrong what she did. And then when someone called her on it like me, she went to personal attacks instead of just answering the fucking question. I didn't personally attack her. I didn't say anything about her looks, how much money she makes, where she lives, what kind of car she drives, nothing like that. But she then repeated the sewer turtles that I should dust off my food stamps, which I don't get, and that I should something for my hotel, which clearly I don't live in. And I'm like, wow, yeah, not only was she so rude, but those are just bold-faced lies. So it's like you're parroting what the sewer turtle says. That shows a lack of intelligence, in my opinion. Anyone with eyeballs knows I don't live in a hotel. Anybody with eyeballs knows what the fuck he's saying is just shit he's saying. It doesn't make any sense, Oh, yeah. I mean, it could be very well, definitely could be the same thing that she did. It's weird, right? That's weird. If you think that highly of yourself, that you're in that sort of ivory tower, then cool. You think that highly of yourself. I don't think highly of myself at all. Because I'm the same as everyone else. I bleed red. I put my pants on one leg at a time, unless you got to jump up and down just to put them on, which sometimes you got to do. But my point is that I am no better than anyone. I am the same. We are all the same, right? And I hate when people get into these, ivory towers of, well, I have more money, so I'm more amazing. It's like, cool. That's great. I'm glad that you have all the money in the world and you worked hard for it and you got it, and that's great. That's wonderful, but that does not make you a better person. It just doesn't. The amount of dollar signs that you make does not make you a better or worse person. It just doesn't. That's the bottom line. And if you think money makes you better than everyone else, then that's not the kind of person that I would want to be around. I've had money. I've had it all and I've had nothing. All right. I've done both in my life. All right. Come full circle. Right now, I don't got much, but what I do have, I don't mind sharing with other people because I struggle. So I know what it's like to struggle. Right. I'm not somebody who just, whatever I get, I keep to myself. I'm not that kind of person. I never have been and never will be. And it's hard to watch people like that sort of spread hate and anger by using their money to do it. It's weird. It's fucking weird, I try to make a place where people can, talk to each other and have civil debates and also have some fun, right? Laugh about some things, cry about some things, be there for one another, be there as a community. I try to foster that type of environment because having adult conversations with people is much better than trying to pull up something they did 10 years ago and be like, poo poo, you're a bad person for something you did in your 20s or teens or even 30s or 40s. Like, what does what someone did or any mistake they made have anything to do with who they are right now today? It doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. It's just an excuse. It's an excuse to bash someone. It's an excuse to make fun of someone. It's just an excuse. That's the bottom line. Which is fine. If you want to toss your money around, toss your money around. That's cool. I don't, that's all well and good. That's, chill, whatever, do what you want. That's not even the part that I have a problem with. The part that I have a problem with is that she wasn't doing it to be like, here, I appreciate your work. Here's the money to show my appreciation to your work. It was more like, hey, I need to buy an opinion or I need to buy influence. And that's not and shouldn't be something that a streamer allows to happen is anybody buying, their way onto a stream. She can make her own, I mean, love bombing isn't always, a bad thing though. Sometimes somebody wants to show that they really appreciate the channel and want to help out in ways that other people can't. And I've seen that happen before. And I think it's great. But at the same time, you don't expect, let's do it the way my grandmother used to teach me, which was if you're giving, right? Give for the right reason. Give because you want to give from your heart. Give because you're not expecting anything in return. And give because you feel it's the right thing to do. You don't give expecting something in return for that give, right? Or you're not giving for the right reason and don't do it. That's how I was taught by my grandparents. Those are the parameters. If you're going to give expecting that you get to tell the person what they do with it, how to spend it, or expect that they're going to do something for you in return, then you're not giving for the right reason. So don't do it at all, right? You give and whatever they do with it or they choose to use it for, right, is for them to decide. It doesn't buy you favor, It's a way for you to be helping someone else that might not have it the way that you have it, And every time I give, and I don't get a lot to give, but if I have, groceries that I'm, not going to use before they go bad, I'll happily give them to my neighbor. You know what I mean? Or clothes that my kid grew out of, I will happily give them to another kid, free of cost, because it costs a lot of money to try to keep up with growing kids. Believe me, I know. And we don't always have the money to pay for that. So if I can help in a small way, right, then I do. And I don't give expecting they're going to give me something back later on. I do it because it's the right thing to do. And it's better that it goes to someone else than in a landfill, So it's like she wasn't doing it to just show appreciation and kindness. She was expecting something in return. And it's unfortunate, because she kind of showed the real nasty side of her. I'm not about getting on social media and just bashing people. I think there's no real purpose to it, right? There's no real purpose just to hurt someone. I think calling out Aiden's behavior is something different because this is something he's been doing for 10 plus years and he ropes other people into it. And afterwards, those same people feel really shitty about what they've done. They feel embarrassed even of the things that they said and did while under that sort of mind control sort of spell, or even in some instances, blackmail. He has actually blackmailed people to get on the internet and disparage someone who was their friend or someone he doesn't like who is their friend at the moment. And I know this because 3 separate people he has tried to blackmail and bribe to do it to me. People who I know, right? This is something that he does. So you'll see stuff on the internet from people that he has either paid, blackmailed, threatened, simply to write disparaging things about you that aren't even true. It's something he's been doing for a really long time. And I think that's important to call out because some people are under some false impression that he doesn't do these things. No, he does. He does do these things. He hurts people, and for no real other reason other than to make himself feel a little bit better about himself. He's admitted he's insecure. He's very insecure. Narcissists usually are insecure. One time he actually tried to tell people that narcissists aren't insecure. That's why he's not a narcissist, because they're not insecure and he's insecure. Wrong. Wrong. Narcissists are very insecure. It's one of the reasons why they're so bad, because they're extremely insecure and they need to make up for that. You know, girl, I know what you were saying. We're going to use Twittering now, just like we use shenanigans and we call them shenanies. We're going to use Twittering, you know? We're going to say Twittering now. We're not going to say Twitter. We're going to say we're Twittering. You know, we were just Twittering. Sometimes mistakes can just be funny jokes now, you know? And also, I am not the spelling Gestapo, because these hands on this phone make all sorts of mistakes because I shut off autocorrect and my keyboard is like this big and my hands are arthritic. And so sometimes I'm just typing, I'm not going back to check, and it'll hit like the above it or below it or, you know, next to it or whatever. And I just hit send and I don't care. So I'm like, I'm not the spelling Gestapo. I promise you, I don't care if you make spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes, because my hands do them accidentally all the friggin' time. Yeah, what did you do? I did some tweeting, some Twittering. I did some Twittering and some shenanigans. It's fine. We did some shenanigans while we were Twittering. It's fine. So petty. You could say that one again. Super duper petty and super duper jealous. And here's the thing. I want everyone to do well. That's my thing, right? I want to see all creators sort of lift each other up, not smack each other down. And there's too much of that happening, right? I don't give a shit if you have one follower or a million followers. I don't say like, oh, I don't want you on my channel because you only have 5 subscribers and you have nothing to offer me as a creator. Listen, I understand why people do it, just not something I would do. I don't care how many people follow you or don't follow you. You have to start at 0. You have to. You start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. You start at the bottom and you work your way up very slowly. It's slow going. That's how it works. Okay. That's literally how it works. And to expect that the number of followers is going to have an effect of what kind of person you are is fucking insane to me. And yes, I said fucking, but it's fucking absolutely bonkers and insane to think that the number of followers would make you either you have this many followers, so you're a terrible, or you have this many, so you're amazing. The number of followers does not make you who you are. That's ridiculous and absurd. Okay. Did some shenanigans, just some Twittering shenanigans. It's fine. Just Twittering shenanigans. He's extremely, extremely petty, extremely jealous. It's unfortunate. It's what he does. And it's just sad, really. And I think once people realize that a lot of it is insecure, jealous, petty beefs that he has, that he then takes to his channel to sort of play victim, then they start to realize who they're dealing with and the lengths that he's willing to go to lie. Do you guys remember the photo? You guys remember the photo of Alan Jackson and Karen Reed? You remember that one? The one everybody said was AI, and I tried to tell you guys a billion times it's not AI. I know for a fact it's real. I mean, the metadata was even checked. Well, he just admitted the other day that he knew it was real, and because it was during jury deliberations that picture came out, and I'll refresh your memory with the picture. I hope this makes people go, right? It just goes to show you, though, the man's willing to really lie about anything, and it's unfortunate. But this is the picture, right? This was the picture. You guys remember this one? They were outside the restaurant, okay? And you remember the turtle telling everyone it was AI after everybody started being like, oh, it's fake. It's AI. It's fake. It's not real. It's AI. And you remember me telling you it is real. It is 100% real. It is not fake. It is real. Well, the other day on his show, he decided to now tell the world that, you know what, guys? I know that we all said our side said it was AI, but it was during jury deliberations and it was a bad look and it was avoidable, right? So, we did PR for her and we said it was just AI. Well, guess what, guys? It wasn't AI and the picture was real, right? Newsflash, we already knew that. We had already been trying to tell a lot of people it was real. Okay. It is a video. It's like a 10-second, it's like a picture video. So it's like a 10-second movable, I think iPhones do it where like you take the picture, but it gives you like 10 seconds of like whatever. Um, so he then admits on his show the other night that it was real the entire time. And he did quote PR for her by lying, him and other people. And it's like, yeah, thank you. Apple live photo. Thank you. Noodle arm thing. What noodle arm thing? Oh, you mean the wacky inflatable tube man? Is that what you mean? But my point is he then admits, because now he's poo-pooing Karen, right? He now admits that these images are real. They did happen. And he was doing PR cover up by lying to the world. I really hope that makes people open their eyes and go, he lied about that. And so did other people on purpose. What else did he lie about? Because when you open that door, you're going to find there's quite a bit that he lied about on purpose. But he's a journalist, right? A journalist who knew he was lying. Ethically, that would be wrong, right? Ethically, a journalist doesn't just get out there and fucking lie to do PR. No? Yeah? No? You know? Oh, no, it's real. And that's because it's a moving photo. It's called Apple Live Photo. So it moves like I forget how many seconds it is total. It's like something amount of seconds. And so you see them move because that's what Apple phones do. And so this image was real. Like I told you guys at the time, 100% real, always has been. So you were hoodwinked if you thought it was fake and you thought it was AI. It was not AI. It was 100% real. It's always been real. And I told you guys that a very long time ago. And he finally the other day admitted it was real. And he did quote PR because it was avoidable. And Karen shouldn't have been caught doing that in public during jury deliberations because, well, it made him and other people have to do PR and lie about it. Right. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a live photo. Someone was there. Someone was physically, that's why I'm telling you guys, I know it's real. Someone was physically there and took that live photo. It's always been real. It's always been real. When Troll Homeo put it out, it was real. Okay. You know? So I'm just saying, also remember it was summertime. For everybody who screamed it was AI or we made it up and why would they do such a thing? I don't know. Ask Karen, ask Alan Jackson, because they did. It's real. It's always been real. There was nothing fake about it. It was never fake. And I'm glad that he would like to admit now that he's a fucking liar. But if you understand that he lied about this, even though this is a small thing, or maybe it's a large thing to you, you know, he lied about many other fucking things too. And if you open that can of worms, you're going to find that lots of worms keep popping the fuck out, right? Bingo. Bingo. Exactly what Claudia said here. It's a journey they've been on. One lie opens the door to others, and there's a lot. And that is the God's honest fucking truth, you know? You know, if I was his wife, I would have not. I mean, remember, right after that, she was seen without her wedding ring on. So I'm sure they had a tiff about it. No, I don't think the live video, it's the live photo itself is online. I think just the screenshots of it are. But yes, if you lie about the small stuff, you lie about the big stuff, you know? Girl, listen, I'm sure a lot of people are, you know? Yeah, I think I can find the clip if you want to see it. Hold on. What do you mean? I mean, it was put out forever ago. Forever ago. And I already knew when it came out it was real, right? But the metadata, I think it was even the New York Post, I believe it was, they also checked the metadata to make sure it was real. And it always has been real. There's no reason I would lie about that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't lie about it then. I'm not lying about it now. It's real. And I will show you the clip where he says it's real. He talked about it the other day. He talked about it his morning. He said Nan never participates in his chats, so he's kind of mad. Oh, he's kind of mad that she was sending him $500 donations all the time, so she needs to be in your chat. I mean, that's weird, bro. That's fucking weird. Sue Girl posted the video to defend TB. It is real, and she knew. We all knew it was real. We tried fucking telling everyone. No one listened to us. You know, they said we were lying and it was AI, and we tried to tell everyone. We did. I mean, there's so many things I've tried to tell everyone, and they're just like, oh no, Twisted's wrong because Turtle said so, and so did the sewer crew. And it's like, I have no reason to fucking lie, dude. None. Zero. You know? Oh yeah, Olivia Lambeau, and so did that other lady from Australia who tried to say it was fake, in which it wasn't. You know, it's somewhere. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, I'll get the clip for you guys in 1 second. Sorry, it's going to take me a second because I can't remember specifically who posted it. Maybe it was Julie. I got to look. Hold on. Okay. The video isn't as bad looking at as the pic. I mean, it's pretty bad no matter what way you slice it to me. Almost 300 grand, you know? Yeah, he keeps all his donuts. He lets Nicholas is right. Everything from him is a lie or it's wrong, you know? That chat was coming from Nan and he kind of defended her, I remember, but maybe these are, different. They're different. Almost at 300 grand. And yeah, he keeps all his donations. That's, you know, he's not going to spend his own money on his defense fund. That's what the defense fund's for, right? That's his whole point. You're not talking about somebody who's responsible here, you know? Milli Vanilli. I think everybody was fooled sometimes by Milli Vanilli back then, right? That is weird. I don't know. Oh, Emily C. All right, hold on. I was looking specifically for the clip of him talking about it the other night on his show on how it's, I think it was Hoops might have been the one that posted it. I'm trying to see. Someone said this morning he was mad at Nan. Probably. Mad at, yeah, she came in his chat. All right, let's see. I feel like maybe it was Hoops, but maybe it wasn't. God damn it, where is it? I could watch it 100 times the other day. It just popped up on my, oh, wait, here we go. Remember when, okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, let me get this off the screen and I'll get this on. Hold on. Well, the attention's not on him, so that's unacceptable. You know how that works. You know? I don't really care if they had or have an affair, not my business. So many minutes there. My dog just puts him in the same category of many. I mean, it's very unprofessional. You know, you don't do that with a client. You know, you just don't. It's unprofessional. It's not a good look. All right, let's see. So she put it right here. So here's the, I'll try to make it bigger here. This- Dude. It's pretty freaking bad. But Emily said, I'm so relieved that, Dr. Turtleboy brought up these pictures because I've had the originals in my phone since before I even knew this Twitter world existed. And it drove me crazy every time someone said they were definitely AI. It's unfortunate, right? I don't know why anyone would allow that idiot to tell you what is or isn't at that point. I was trying to find him talking about it, right? Because I can't remember exactly who posted it though. Let's see. If I click on that, and like was not only asking other people to donate, but she's paying for a 5-star dinners for them, right? Staying in a very over $100,000 she spent on a hotel. I don't know anybody who donated to her that was super happy about that. You're staying in a, very ritzy hotel for over $100,000 when you could just stay at your parents' house doesn't really scream that you're broke, right? It just doesn't scream you need help and you're broke if you're spending all of that money buying your lawyers every meal they have when that's what you pay attorneys fees for. They cover their own travel and their own food. You don't then pay for that on top of that and then stay in a hotel and spend over $100,000 on it. That's not normal. That's not normal at all. In the still pic, it looks like his hand is on her breast, and in the live photo, it doesn't. No, I don't think it looks like his hand is on her breast. It's definitely underneath. That's what it looks like to me. I think I know what post you mean. Yeah, I gotta find it. You know what I mean? I think this is what losing a step feels like. It kind of is. You know what I mean? It kind of is. You're right. You're right. It's weird, It's weird. Let's see. Wait. Oh, okay. Here we go. I found it. Troll Homeo had it. All right, hold on. I found it. She has a different version of it, but it's the same thing. Hold on. Yeah, the war room. She complained about the hotel life in the documentary. It's completely tone deaf to people who can't afford any of that, You do win some, you do lose some, but I definitely push you to go and look. If you think this was one little lie, how many more do you think are, you know what I mean? Like I push you to look, okay? And rethink everything that you thought that you knew or you thought was real or you thought was fake. Yeah, definitely weird if you ask me. Definitely weird. But again, he's still married. You know what I mean? Like shady business there. It's a professional boundary you don't cross, especially in public. Keep it on the down low for Christ's sakes. So that's the weird part, Sam. She'd have been closer to the courthouse in Dedham at her parents' house in Dighton than at that hotel in Boston. No real reason. It might have even been about the same distance. No real reason to spend over $100,000 on a hotel when you could stay for free at your parents', or at the time she still had her own place that she hadn't sold yet. She could have stayed there too. There's no real reason you would need to spend $100,000, over $100,000 on the hotel stay alone. All right. And yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm just encouraging people to take another look at what you think you know and what you think you were told that was truth versus what's really truth and what's really a fucking lie. Because I promise you're going to find a lot of lies,
Just because somebody says things on YouTube doesn't mean it's actually true.
He's
So
talking
at the
about
end of the
himself.
first trial, there was a picture that came out in like the New York Post of Alan Jackson and Cameron Reed. You remember that? They were like out and they were like, are they canoodling? And our side's response to that was like, that's AI,
Like, of course, you wouldn't fucking lie about this.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't AI. Okay. That was during jury deliberations too. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like these avoidable fucking things that you just keep getting into situations. And then we do all the PR work. We're all like, oh, that's fucking AI.
If I was ever caught in a lie, that would ruin my whole reputation is based on that.
That's not real. Oh, this and that. It was real, guys. Okay. That was a real fucking picture.
He
I
did a
hate to break it to you.
Spaces
Just
and a live at the
because
same
somebody
time.
says things on YouTube doesn't.
So he did a Spaces and a live. So that was someone that came up on the Spaces because he did them both at the same time. So that was someone he let in to speak on his Spaces, and he was talking. Yeah, but that doesn't, most attorneys don't get caught doing it in public, or, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell he's emotionally, like, most of the time, even if it is happening, you don't know it's happening. It doesn't make it any less wrong. It's not ethical, right? Attorneys have things they have to uphold. It's not ethical, and it's definitely, certainly a bad fucking look in public. You know what I mean? During a murder trial, nonetheless, especially when the man is married. No, he's not talking about himself when he's talking about if it's on YouTube, it's not always true. But in reality, most of the things that he says are projections of the truth that pertain to him, if you didn't notice that already. Right? Me too. Same girl, same. I would love to be able to just spend enough to like go out and have a good night. It's not AI. It's not AI. Sorry to break it to you. It never was AI. It's always been real. But he does, it's what he does. That's literally what he does. He projects onto other people everything he's doing, has done, and will do. That's the problem, you know? Well, see, that's the problem, right? That's part of the problem. Again, expert witnesses are always going to have the defense expert witnesses are always going to agree with what the defense says. The prosecution expert witnesses are always going to agree with the prosecution says. So that's kind of the problem when it comes to cases. And most people would say you might not care about their personal lives, but it's certainly not a fucking good look. It definitely starts raising questions about someone's character. And that's a huge problem during a murder trial that you don't want to give your client. It's not smart. It's just not smart. Not even a little bit. It's not something you want to do. My point isn't even that they were doing it. That's not my point. My point is that he told the world it was AI, knowing he was lying. He had other people in that circle tell the world it was AI when he knew he was lying. Why lie if it's no big deal? And if he's going to lie about that, what else do you think he lied about? That's my point. Raises lots of questions that you all have to go answer yourselves, because I've answered them a million times, and nothing I'm going to say is apparently going to make anyone believe it. So I tell you to go look yourself, go figure it out yourself. And I promise you, that's not the only lie you're going to uncover, big or little. You know? It's just not. It's unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with here, you know? So this guy here, I'm just going to show you this. It's not AI, official. I'm sorry to tell you, it is not AI. It was never AI. It's always been real. I'm sorry that you don't like that answer. I'm sorry that you don't like that answer, but that's the truth. So no matter how many times you say it's AI, is not going to magically make it AI. It never was AI. The New York Post independently also confirmed the metadata on it. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Billy Bush said he was butthurt. Shut the hell up. No, he didn't. Sure, official. Whatever you say. Sure, sure. Why are you here then? That's my question to you. Why are you here then? You don't want to hear what I have to say. Why are you hate watching me? Why don't you ask yourself that question, sir or ma'am? Bingo. Right? Let me show you this real quick. This person here, Chris, NH, live for your die, is responding to Boston Brandy. Okay. And he says, I don't disagree, but a lot of us have Karen fatigue. Fancy hotels, steak dinners, sleeping with AJ, not thanking Aiden or Howie Carr, which I disagree with. I'll disagree with that part. And let's face it, Karen wouldn't be friends with any of us. She's not friendly. She's not likable. It's not her gender. It's her personality. So Boston Brandy responds and says, show me that she paid for these things. Show me a meal that wasn't comped. Well, there were plenty of meals that weren't comped that she did pay for. She's already admitted that. I don't even know why that's like arguing at all. You know, what are you talking about? Massachusetts. It wasn't Massachusetts that confirmed the metadata. It was the New York Post, genius. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Thank you. It's because they're on X. It's not because they have you blocked. It's because they're on X, which means they probably are blocked on YouTube for being a troll. He lied. Bottom line is he lied at the time, and now he's coming clean because eventually it's going to be known anyway. But the bottom line is this: to argue that Karen didn't pay for those dinners and she didn't pay for the hotel, those are things that she has already admitted to publicly. I don't even know why that's an argument. She absolutely paid for, yes, some meals were comped, others were not. She paid for them. She did pay over $100,000 for the hotel. That's also not a secret. It's in the documentary. Hello. So it says, show me a meal that wasn't comped. There were plenty. Show me her flight payments proving she didn't use someone's frequent flyer miles. Show me the hotel invoices that she put any donation dollar towards. Show me. She literally admitted she paid over $100,000 for that. Is this La La Land? I just want to like throw out there that denying things that happened simply to defend someone is nonsensical when that person has already admitted to doing those things. It doesn't make sense. Okay. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Just does not. Said he was butthurt. That's hilarious. You're welcome. It took me a minute to find it, but you're welcome. It had been out for a while, but I knew I wasn't going to find it going back like a year. You know what I mean? At least not live right now. I might have found it later, but yeah, I'm sorry, official. No and no. Colin Albert, sir, wasn't even at the house. So you're just spewing nonsense at this point. I mean, literally even Karen completely debunked that BS. So I don't even know why you're arguing it. I mean, would you blame them though, Nanya? I can't blame them. Can you blame them for being unhappy? I mean, I can't blame them. It's shitty. It's definitely shitty. It is shitty. Crap. Because of the shit she's just been doing, you know? I think the thing with Donna and her response to me, people were not happy with it all. And then sort of, she's kind of picked fights with like almost everyone at this point, all in the name of like the sewer turtle. And now the sewer turtle doesn't even like her anymore. So it's, I mean, I don't know. It's weird shit, you know? She accused Auntie Deb / Jimmy of stream grape. Of stream grape. Hey, official, nobody can read your comments because you're on X, and also nobody cares, just so you know. Just so you know, nobody but me can read them, and no one cares. Just throwing that out there. No one cares. Nobody can see your comments but me, and no one gives a shit. You're just saying nonsensical things that you want to believe that just are not true. I mean, just FYI, even Karen Reed debunked anything to do with Colin Albert, hence noticing he's not in her freaking lawsuit. All right? Just saying. No, you don't. Making law simple. Don't lie to the sir or ma'am. Don't lie to them. Yeah, that was one of the things, right? That's one of the things. And I think it's just been like a correlation of things sort of happening over a period of time with her that I don't know. Okay, Bella, I don't know what it is. It's a thing, apparently. I don't know. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Now you're just being facetious. You know? It's I mean, I'm not a fan. I feel bad that at one point I felt for her. She had said that she was being cyber harassed, and I kind of felt bad that she was being cyber harassed because, like, that's shitty. Like, no matter who it is, I think it's shitty, and it shouldn't happen. And I felt bad, right? I felt bad. And I even wrote her a little note and was like, hey, like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. Like, that shouldn't happen to anyone. And now I'm like, wow, you're just not a good person, right? Like, I'm sorry that I ever felt bad for you. Like, you're just not a good person. It's just that simple. It is what it is. I don't know, Bella. I don't know. It's apparently a thing. I don't know. It was Googled. I read it a little earlier. That's what it says. I have no idea what it is or why. No clue. No clue. None whatsoever. Everyone was changing profile. Yeah, that's why. That's why. The grapes. Yeah, probably eating grapes. To be fair, I love grapes, but I like the green ones. Those are my favorite. That was my favorite. The green ones are my favorite. My absolute favorite. My kids love fruit. Funny enough, I don't have to fight with them to eat fruit or veggies. Thank God. They love both fruit and veggies. I'm going to wrap this up because it's 3:00, as I always do around this time. But if you would like to support the channel, there's a bunch of different ways you can do so. As you know, you can get yourself a membership, do a super chat or super sticker, or the most direct routes are Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Revolut. We have an Amazon wish list. All that stuff is in the description. And then we have a link for debit or credits pinned to the top of the chat. I think it's also in the description. I think. Right? Someone's missing grapes. You got free grapes? I am jealous. With your Walmart pickup, that is, Walmart, if you're listening, I would love free grapes because grapes are delicious. Maybe it was Nan's order. I can't stand you guys. I love you so much. I got a shitty phone call this morning. Just bad news for someone I care about. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I could sit here and just wallow that it was shitty news, but you guys always make my day better. Always make me laugh. You always make me smile, even if I'm just having a shit day. So I appreciate you for that. I really do. Not enough soap. I hate the substitutions. I wish they would get rid of them because they make the most nonsensical, ridiculous substitutions ever. The GoFundMe has reached 50,595. My brain is not fucking working. I can't even read numbers today. God damn it. I can't even read fucking numbers. That's great. That is great. I mean, I had to be filled in, official, again, no one can read your comments unless I put them on the screen. You're just a shitty person. You think it's a good thing that someone was diagnosed with cancer? You're a bad person. You're sad. You're literally hate watching me and talking about it's great that someone got cancer. Go away. Nobody likes you. I might smell in a week or so. No, you won't. You have 4 bars. You better start cutting them into pieces. Start cutting them into pieces. God damn it. Also, official, you realize like you're on my channel, right? Who gives a fuck? Well, I don't know. Maybe my viewers give a fuck. You might not give a fuck, but you're not my viewer or supporter. So I don't give a fuck that you don't give a fuck. See how that works? You can start your own channel and just keep screaming 227 into a void if you want. You could totally do that if you want. Why don't you try that out? See how that works out for you. You do that. You do that. I don't think you'll smell. You know, just cut them into quarters. You know what I mean? Tell them to stop doing substitutions. God damn it. Stop doing substitutions. Right? Same. I hate bullies. I'm not a fan. Right? I think everybody deserves kindness and grace. And when I see it just constantly being pushed at like aiming to hurt people constantly, it hurts my heart. It just does, you know? Oh my God. Those cotton candy grapes are fucking amazing. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, my viewers do give a fuck. See, that's where you'd be wrong, sir and or ma'am. And also, sir and or ma'am, I haven't blocked you yet, but you realize that I'm just going to, right? And then you won't be able to just comment things that only I can see because no one else can see them unless I put them on the screen. You realize that, right? No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. You're on my stream, sir and or ma'am. All right. They get 5 or 6 fucks. How about that? They 5 a fuck. All right. They're telling you they 5 a fuck. Maybe you don't believe that either. You apparently don't believe anything. So, I mean, you're not that smart of a cookie. Few crayons short of the box. Let's see. All right, you guys. I love your stinking faces. And I will see you guys tomorrow, which will be our last stream until what? You don't even make sense. Good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You can't get a site shut down simply because you don't like why they're raising money. Oh my God. Oh my God. I've never laughed so much in my life. Thank you for that, official, you actual brain dead idiot. Wowza. Wow. Some people don't use their brain cells that they might not have left or whatnot. I love your stinking faces, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Be a little earlier than today. But tomorrow will be the last day before gobble gobble, before Thanksgiving happens. And if I don't see some of you tomorrow, I hope everybody does have an amazing Thanksgiving and holiday. And you know how to reach me. If you're, you know, by yourself, nobody should be. I got 5 on a 2, girl. I wish I could play that as an outro. That would be fucking amazing right now. I can't. Yeah, officially a weirdo. Facts. You know how to reach me. If you're by yourself on Thanksgiving and you're just like, this sucks, right? Like, you can always message me. I will answer. Holiday or not holiday, I will still answer. I cannot promise you I'll answer on my birthday, though, because I'm feeling like I'm going to try to shut down my social media for that just one day and see if I'm successful for it. Probably not, but I'm going to attempt it at least in the morning. All right. So, but I'll see you all in the morning. I might do a spaces, but it won't be until like 8 o'clock tonight because I have to like do dinner and all that stuff first. But I might do a you know, people, you go right ahead with your bad self, official. We're so scared. We're so scared. We're so scared of you. Oh my God, I'm shaking in my boots. Oh, like whatever shall I do? A troll is super scary. I don't know what I shall do. I shall cry myself to sleep tonight. I might not sleep because you're so tough. It's, you know, gangster bitch Barbie over here, everybody. You want to watch out now. All right? Watch out. Cereal. This is cereal business. I love y'all. Peace out.